and legends were involved. Bart Starr went to Max McGee, while Buck Buchanan was ever present. It's been a long time since these two teams have reached that level, but now they're on their way back. Kansas City is led by last season's leading rusher in the league, Christian Okoye, as well as the AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year, Derek Thomas. The Magic Man returns for Green Bay as Don Majkowski deals the Packers in. Magic faced the NFL in passing yardage last year and proved to be a miracle worker when the game was on the line. Also meeting once again two old friends, Lindy Infante and Marty Schottenheimer.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Green Bay Packers.
Autumn has arrived in the upper Midwest, and we've got a magnificent afternoon for football in a legendary setting as it's 52 degrees in Green Bay, Wisconsin for a matchup between the AFC and the NFC. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Curly Lambeau Field. I'm Joel Myers alongside Ahmad Rashad, and there's a great deal of excitement in Green Bay this weekend. Ahmad, with the return of Don Majkowski as the Packers quarterback.
There is reason to be excited because now that they have Majkowski back, they think that they can pick up where they left off last year, and that was with a lot of miracles performed by this man, Majkowski. The Magic is returned to Green Bay.
The problems for the Packers over the first 2 weeks have stemmed from their offensive line. They've already given up 8 sacks, 6 last Sunday against the Bears.
Well, the one thing that should help that offensive line is they got a mobile quarterback playing now. And last week, they really did have problems trying to hold the Bears out. They've got a young offensive line making a lot of mistakes. But with Majkowski, he may be able to run around a little bit more and elude that defensive pass rush of Kansas City.
Well, like Green Bay, the Kansas City Chiefs come into the game with a 1-1 record. Their problem so far, stopping the run. They have really had difficulty, especially with Bobby Humphrey last week.
That is another thing that'll help that Green Bay team, because when Kansas City cannot stop the run, I guarantee you teams that pass all the time will not pass against Kansas City. They will make Kansas City prove that they can stop the run. So I expect Green Bay to come out running the ball until Kansas City shows they can stop it.
On the positive side for the Chiefs, Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday their passing attack with Steve DeBerg coming up a career-best 395 yards last Monday night against Denver is way ahead of where they were last season.
Steve DeBerg finally has a commitment made to him to be the starting quarterback, and he is taking advantage of that. He is a great student of the game. He's a guy that's a veteran. He's been around a long time, learned under some great coaches, and now all of a sudden it is his time. It's his hour, and he is making the most of that opportunity. Another thing that's going to make this game like a playoff game is we got two old coaches. You see them there shaking hands before the game. These guys know each other better than any two coaches in the league because they coached together at Cleveland.
Lindy Infante was Marty Schottenheimer's offensive coordinator with the Cleveland Browns, as Ahmad had mentioned, in 1986 and 1987, when the Cleveland Browns, during that two-season span, won more games than any other team in the AFC, taking 22. Nick Lowry has it teed up, ready to go as the Green Bay Packers won the toss and back deep. It'll be Carl Bland in his 7th year out of Virginia Union, and Vince Workman, second-year man from Ohio State. It'll be Bland right at the goal line. Bland just activated this week and re-signed after he was cut earlier with flags down. The play is also down at the 22-yard line. So good special teams coverage by the Kansas City Chiefs. Usually when you see a flag like that, it's an illegal block against the return team. Will it go against Green Bay? Gordon McCarter is our referee, and as opposed to going against Green Bay, it's against Kansas City. So the Chiefs start the day with a mistake. And better field position now for Don Majkowski, possibly in the offensive unit. Clarifying the situation with the offensive captain, Sterling Sharp.
Personal foul, illegal low block by number 25 of the kicking team during the return. 15, first down.
It's called on Danny Copeland. 15 more yards for Green Bay, all the way out to their own 37-yard line.
That is one of the great rule changes that they've made in past years, where on a kickoff return, you've got to hit the player above the waist. A lot of injuries result in low blowing a guy on that kickoff and punt coverages.
The only back behind Mikowski is Brent Fullwood on 1st and 10 with the tight end in motion. And a huge hole for Fullwood. He's got a first down into Kansas City territory. That was the major concern coming into the game. We just talked about it, for the Chiefs to be able to stop the run. The offensive line, you'll see Ard and Euchers start at the guard positions. You'll also see Miranda Hallstrom see a lot of activity as well, as their first-round draft choice starts at the right tackle from last season, Tony Mandarich. Woodside, Fullwood in the backfield with Don Mikowski. Sterling Sharp, the leading receiver in the NFL. Only 6 catches so far after the first 2 weeks. And when they go to their 4 wideouts, Weathers comes in, along with the fastest Packer possibly, Jeff Query. It's a great field position for Green Bay to start the day. It's Keith Woodside taking it down inside the 45, stacked up near the 44-yard line. Front 7 for the Kansas City Chiefs. And remember, when you look at this group, they were the stingiest in the AFC last year. The rookie starting at inside linebacker from Michigan State is Percy Snow, and the AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year, Derek Thomas, on the outside. Secondary, Lewis, Ross Porter, and Donaldson. And when the Chiefs go to their dime package, they'll be joined by J.C. Pearson and Stan Petrie. Right now, though, effectively, Green Bay running the ball on 2 plays in Kansas City territory. But they've got it now 2nd and 5. The delay. And Woodside can't get out of the backfield. Make that Fullwood. Sally Amua, Plan B signing from last year from Detroit. He has been a find for the Kansas City Chiefs.
And Sally Amua, nice play there last week. Didn't have a real good game. I'm sure he's out to show that he's a much better player than he played last week.
He is always around the ball. Tied for the league lead in fumble recoveries last year with 5. And now a 3rd and 5 situation, close to 6 yards now for Green Bay as Mikowski works out of the shotgun. Pocket holds up, plenty of time, but overthrows Sterling Sharp, his favorite target last year. And coming into the game, Ahmad, many wondered whether Mikowski would be rusty.
I think it's obvious he's going to be a little bit rusty. He said he took all the snaps during practice, but practice, you really can't emulate a game situation. So I think as the game goes along, he'll get a lot better. There you saw him go from one side of the field to the other, and that's pretty tough to do when you haven't played a long time. He was actually trying to find, they were trying to get a matchup on with Herman Fontenot, who comes out of the backfield. He's a fine receiver, but he just couldn't get open.
Don Bracken in to punt it away for the Packers in his 6th year from Michigan. Former alum celebrating the Wolverines' win over the UCLA Bruins yesterday as Naz Worthen is the deep back for Kansas City. Worthen not calling for the fair catch as the Packers let him go by all the way to the 22-yard line. So a mental mistake by Green Bay. Worthen never put his hand up. He is fearless. We've heard that from the Chiefs. He showed it there. So Kansas City outside of their own 20. When we return, we'll have it for the first time today.
Here you see Naz Worthen just fielding this ball. Carl Bland, number 83, right there in front of him, just lets him go. I don't know what the confusion was there, but if the guy doesn't put his hand up, then you got to make the tackle on him.
The Kansas City Chiefs come out offensively for the first time today with a 2 tight end set. And there's single back. The NFL's top rusher last year, Christian Okoye. Okoye cracking it ahead. For close to 5 to the 26-yard line offensively. A big group up front as Grunhard gets the start at center. With Kansas City joined by Alt Winters, Lutz, and Baldinger. In the backfield, Okoye. You'll see Bill Jones in there because McNair has a bruised shoulder from Monday night's game. He's one of the 2 inactives. And when they go to their 4 wide receiver alignment, besides Page and Manley, it'll be Thomas and Harry also in there. Solid second, just about 6. Okoye trying to bounce to the outside. And he's got the first down as he belted out of bounds beyond the 35. A lot of people forget that he's a former track athlete at Azusa Pacific. He's got good speed once he breaks containment.
Christian Okoye is not only a just powerful inside runner, but he has the ability to take the ball outside. And here he's learning to play this game more every day. You got to learn to protect yourself down that sideline. That's one of those times where he just sort of let up a little bit after he gets by Mark Lee. And now is the time you really got to keep your body together, because there are defensive backs that will come and try to take it apart.
1st and 10 for the Chiefs. As they stay in the 2 tight end set, DeBerg loses the ball. Just pulled away from his center a little bit too quickly. Pulled away from Grunhard.
As it worked out, it's a good thing that he did fumble the ball, because Tim Harris, number 97, was right on that play.
The strength of this defensive front 7 for the Green Bay Packers, their group of linebackers led by an all-pro from last season. Their outside linebacker, Tim Harris. Brian Noble, number 91, you'll see him as their cheerleader this afternoon. Secondary, plenty of experience there with Leon Holmes, also Murphy and Tiger Green. And when the Packers go to the dime, the extra linebackers, Burnell Dent. Extra D-backs, Leroy Butler and Ron Pitts. 2nd and 10, Okoye stumbling his way out of the backfield for only about 2. Close to the 37.
When you have a back like Christian Okoye, you certainly have to make use of him by giving him the ball at every single opportunity. And that's what the Kansas City Chiefs are doing. Now, in a passing situation, Okoye comes out of the backfield saying that he's just learning this game of football, and pass receiving is not really his forte.
How many players in this league will tell you, like Okoye told us yesterday, Ahmad, he is still learning and improving every day? Not many.
No, not at this level, Joel, that's for sure. At this level, you hopefully a guy knows how to play, but with him just getting better, that's bad news for every defense.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 8 for DeBerg. Out of the shotgun with flags into the air, and it's a dead ball foul. Forget about the play. They've blown the play dead as DeBerg was hit as he released it. Tim Harris was in the backfield.
Also, Burnell Dent is the one that put the pressure on him that caused DeBerg to let that ball go early.
False start, left guard, offense. No play, still 3rd down.
So as it turns out, a break for the Kansas City Chiefs. Another try at 3rd down. This time it'll be 3rd and 13, though. Back inside their own 32-yard line.
Anytime that you put so much emphasis on stopping Tim Harris, it's going to free up another one of those linebackers. And DeBerg there had number 56, Burnell Dent, right in his face. But DeBerg told us yesterday that the guy that they want to account for each and every time is Tim Harris.
Harris will be moving around. What Harris told us yesterday, he has to worry about going to the wrong side. And then all of a sudden, it's a play fake by DeBerg, and he's on the backside very quickly. They blow it dead again. They blow it dead again with flags into the air. A mistake-filled game over the first 5 minutes and 4 seconds.
Delay of game, offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
So that is already the 3rd penalty in the early going against the Kansas City Chiefs.
These teams still, Marty Schottenheimer does not like it. He's a very fundamental coach and knows that mistakes are the thing that really separates winners from losing. And I'm certain that Marty is not happy with the way things are going so far this game. Marty Schottenheimer, one of the great teachers in this business, loves to coach.
Now it's 3rd and 18. They bring the tight end back in, and it's 3 wide receivers as it's batted down in front of DeBerg. Matt Brock right in the face of the quarterback. Tim Harris also there. Got to bring up Matt Brock, though, that fighting duck from Oregon.
There you go, that fighting duck from the University of Oregon. You know, and the thing is, he's one of these players that didn't have to change uniforms. His uniform's the same color as it was at University of Oregon. Now you see Harris putting the pressure on. Okoye trying to make a block, and here comes Matt Brock, number 62, to knock that ball away. Here's another look at it. Watch Brock still just jump up. A lot of times, defensive linemen jump up without using their hands. Brock gets up and knocks the ball away.
Kelly Goodburn punts it away to Query. Query, one of the shiftiest and one of the quickest, finds some open field. Query stumbles, or he could have possibly taken it all the way. Legs moving a little bit too fast on that play. He is frustrated, but what a return and what excitement in Green Bay as we'll be right back with the second series for the Packers.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by America's favorite light beer, Miller Lite, the sole sponsor of the NFL Player of the Year Award. By Levi's 505, 506, and 540 jeans. And by Isuzu. For features, styling, and price, there's no comparison.
Welcome back to a sold-out Curly Lambeau Field. Don Majkowski ready for his second offensive series with Fullwood and Haddix in the backfield. Haddix the motion man. And Fullwood throttled in the backfield by Neil Smith in his third year from Nebraska. Former first-round pick in 1988 for the Kansas City Chiefs. He really came on in the second half of last season. A lot of people feel that Derek Thomas may have had a lot to do with that. He picked everybody up.
I think so. I think that when you get a great player like Derek Thomas, it makes everybody play a lot better. Neil Smith, a bona fide player as a defensive end, has a chance to be one of the best in the business, and he seems really dedicated to that this year.
You see the early scores on our first look at the 10-minute ticker. 8 minutes, 40 seconds left in the first 15 minutes of play. Green Bay. Fullwood, the other one in the backfield. On second and 11, Majkowski throwing behind Sharp. And they were worried. Lindy Infante told us yesterday he hopes that the mental reaction time of Don Majkowski is fast enough that everything becomes instinctive once again for him.
Well, one of the things you talk about is in training camp, you take more snaps in one day than you do in an entire week of practice during the course of the week. So Majkowski here looking for Sterling Sharp, just a little bit off. That is rust. That is going to improve. And I'm sure Majkowski and Lindy Infante hope that it improves in a hurry.
The worst game of the year for Don Majkowski last year came in week number 14 against these same Kansas City Chiefs. The only game he did not throw a touchdown pass in when he was 14 of 34 for 123 yards out of the shotgun. He'll be throwing on 3rd and 11. Pocket collapsing. He is hit, and he's on his way down with flags down to the play. It was the cornerback J.C. Pearson, the extra defensive back in there on 3rd and long, who came in and got him.
I got a feeling we got a holding call,
which will obviously be declined by Kansas City. This will bring up 4th down, but did Green Bay ever waste superb field position starting at their own 49-yard line?
Holding, number 67, offense. Penalty decline, 4th down.
Called on Billy Yard.
You get a chance to watch Billy Yard, the left side of your screen, number 67. You see him working there on Dan, because I can't say Dan's last name.
Saliamua.
There it is. And just a flat-out holding call. Sometimes you let the guy get by rather than have your quarterback killed. The trick is to just hold the guy.
Brackett is in for his second punt of the day. Nasworthen waiting. It's off the side of his foot, and it takes a Kansas City roll. So after starting with it at their own 49-yard line, the Packers give it right back to the Chiefs now. And Kansas City gets it at their own 28. So DeBerg and the offense ready to take over. The war of field position won so far by Green Bay, but they haven't capitalized.
One of the best cornerbacks in the business, number 29, Albert Lewis, gets hurt here. You see Fontenot blocking on him. Now he's see him bouncing on that one leg. It appears as though he may have twisted an ankle, and if he is not able to return, there he is getting that ankle rewrapped. But he is, when he's healthy and ready to play, there is nobody in the business any better than Albert Lewis.
He is the Chiefs blocking specialist. He blocked one last week that set up a score in the Monday night matchup with Denver. 1st and 10 now for DeBerg in the offense at their own 28. Quick one to Stephon Page. He's got a 1st down. You're looking at the NFL's overall total offense leader. Started the day with 251 yards on 12 receptions. That's good for 12 yards.
Stephon Page is a very crafty receiver with great hands, runs great routes. Here you see him just drive the cornerback off. Just a little stop pattern. Now here's where he's at his best when he starts to run with the ball. He picks up another 10 yards just on his running ability.
That's 67 straight contests now for Page with at least one reception. Okoye trying to get to the outside. Okoye for close to 8. It was interesting when we talked to Christian yesterday. He said he wants to run behind his pads more, Ahmad, protect himself better, and deliver a blow.
I think when you first start playing, you don't understand that you must protect yourself. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are. Watch this cut by Okoye. A great cut there. He cuts inside the hole and then starts to lower his shoulders. I think a year ago he was running maybe a little bit too much standing straight up and down, and now he's starting to get underneath those pads and punishing people as they try to tackle him.
The Chiefs told us that linebackers have been pinching in, trying to cut off Okoye as he stumbles and rolls through for the first down, maintaining his balance for a gain of 7 to the 45 of Green Bay. But last week at Denver, and it looks early this week against Green Bay, that the linebackers are closer to the line. They want to get them outside more often.
That could be a mistake. Here you see Okoye taking the wide handoff. Now he has a chance to run this ball anywhere he wants to. He makes a great cut back inside and keeps his feet running. Nice turn there. That looked like just one of those drills that they run in training camp. But Okoye putting it to work in a game here. And the thing is that we mentioned earlier, Joe, he's just learning this game.
That's the scary aspect of it all. 1st and 10 for Kansas City, the 45-yard line of Green Bay. Play action, which DeBerg does so well and has time as his receivers stumble. He wanted Rob Thomas. When he made his cut him out, he fell to the turf.
He couldn't come out of that cut. The most important part of any route is to be able to burst out of your cut. He was wide open, ran the cornerback off, and as he turned around, he started to slip, and the ball was already thrown. A great pass by DeBerg. You see DeBerg deliver this ball, and Thomas is slipping now. He just can't come out of that cut to make that catch.
Rob's father, Aaron, played with the New York Giants. Great to see him back in the lineup. He was carried off the field on Monday night on a stretcher after he took quite a shot. Great to see him back out there so quickly. 2nd and 10 now with 6:06 left in the first quarter. No score thus far. DeBerg with pressure, dumps it. And did he ever take a hit? Noble in the backfield, the inside linebacker. So pressure early and consistently from Green Bay.
They are so concerned with stopping Tim Harris rushing from the outside, always keeping a man out there to check on Harris, that all of a sudden Noble comes right up the middle and puts the pressure on DeBerg. Watch number 91 standing up. Here he comes on the blitz. There's nobody on him. You have to make this play. There's nobody blocking you. There is no excuse for not making this sack, and Noble makes the play. There's a lot of times during the course of a football game that you have an opportunity to make the play. The great players make the play.
Extra defensive back alignment in there is Darnell Dent. Is the only linebacker with Tim Harris. On 3rd and 10 for Kansas City at the Green Bay 45. Over the middle, Page has it. He's got the first down as he fumbles. Loose ball. I believe the Packers got it. They do. Green Bay recovers. Ron Pitts, the former UCLA Bruin, the son of Packer great of years gone by, Elijah Pitts, coming up with a loose ball.
Steve DeBerg with an excellent choice of receivers. Just a little slant pattern by Stephon Page. Catches it right in stride. Great throw. Now Stephon is on his way and just gets that ball stripped out of there. And the name Pitts has been heard quite a few times here in this arena, going back to his dad, Elijah Pitts. Nice play.
Elijah scoring 2 touchdowns in the first Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs leading in fumbles. Cough it up again on 1st and 10.
And what we thought about that Green Bay was going to come out running the ball is exactly what they're doing. It's just during the course of a week. Anything that you show that you're unable to do, every team in the league watches the films. And Infante knows that Kansas City could not stop the run last week, so that's exactly which way he's going to attack this defense.
And Kansas City, Ahmad, is going up against a team where their leading ground gainer after 2 weeks is their quarterback, Anthony Dilwick, with only 46 yards.
I think it was because they tried to pass so many times. But now, all of a sudden, they have a situation where they can run, and they're doing that.
Fullwood, the only one of the backfield with the tight end in motion. He's trying to bounce it as it's a play-action fake. Mikowski with time. He'll run for the first down. Great play-action fake to Fullwood. Brought it over to the near side and also brought many of the defensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs with Mikowski buying time to the right side.
Mikowski was rolling out looking for Perry Kemp way down the field. Excellent fake here. Fakes out everybody, including our cameraman. And all of a sudden, Mikowski still looking way downfield, trying to find Perry Kemp. Can't find him. And this is that mobility we talked about in the open, that this fella here can run the ball. He runs it well as a halfback once he gets outside. He is a great all-around athlete. High jump 6'11" in college.
So coming into the game, he's the only Packer quarterback with the Pro Bowl since Bart Starr in '68. Everybody's talking about the great deception of Steve DeBerg on play fakes. That was a beauty by Don Mikowski. Getting into the backfield, Keith Woodside breaking tackles. And he takes it up near the 39-yard line for a gain of 4.
This running attack is definitely taking a lot of pressure off of Don Mikowski, and they've got to keep doing it, you know, just to give him a chance to get into the game. There's an interesting score. Chicago 3-0 over Minnesota. Strange that I would care about that score.
Not at all. And I know that you're pulling for those Bears once again. Cleveland with an early lead. You saw Cincinnati up by 10 over New England, trying to raise their record to 3-0. Woodside, Fullwood, the two in the backfield. 2nd and 6 situation, exactly 4 minutes left in the first quarter. The two teams have yet to score. Play action again for Mikowski. He's got Sterling Sharp, and he's got a first down to the 47-yard line. Now they're in sync a little bit better.
Sterling Sharp and Don Mikowski, you heard that so many times last year, and I think that Mikowski's back. You're going to hear it again. Watch Sterling Sharp run this route. Pushes the defender off. Now, watch his feet. Watch his feet. He knows where he is on the field. One down. He drags that second foot. That is an all-pro play right there by an all-pro player. Once again, he's got 1 foot down, drags that right foot. Great catch by Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp was a linebacker in high school, and he plays wide receiver as aggressively. Big, strong guy.
90 receptions last year to lead the entire league. Came in today with a 21-yard average on 6 catches. Mikowski looking to throw. Has the dump off, but it's underthrown. His safety, Val Perry Kemp, was waiting on the sideline. Stops the clock with 3:18 left in the first 15 minutes of play.
Instinctively, you know what you can do, but because you haven't done it a bunch of times, you come up short like that. Because Mikowski so many times last year was able to pull that play off. But you see the nimble foot. He got back in the, dropped back to pass, and then sort of just danced up in the middle of that comfort zone and just short-armed the ball a little bit. But I think that's going to come. It's just the fact that he has not had a chance to play a lot, that his arm strength may be down a little bit.
Darrell Thompson in there for the first time today, the tailback, the rookie from Minnesota. Packers first-round draft choice. 2nd and 10, delay goes to Thompson. And he is stacked up right at the original line of scrimmage. Sally Amua again in on the solo stop. But don't forget, it all starts next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern with NFL Live. What a great matchup, Denver against Buffalo. Elway and Kelly and those bickering Bills of Buffalo back at Rich Stadium. Those of you who will see Denver and Buffalo, some others, Miami, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Philadelphia. I'll be there with Chris Collingsworth in Cleveland, Kansas City, the late game. So don't forget, it's NFL Live at 12:30 Eastern, followed by another super lineup on NBC. 3rd, a little bit better than 10. They're showing the blitz. It's picked up for Mikowski, but the pressure comes from the outside, and he has to just simply get rid of it. Derek Thomas frustrated that he did not get to the quarterback. But that hurry that you've talked about before, Ahmad, really paid off in that case.
Derek Thomas, one of the impact players in this league, one of the young stars, one of the best players that I've seen come into this league in quite some time. Here's a player that could play any position. He'd be a great running back. He's just got so much agility, so much strength, and you're going to hear about him for a long time.
Brackett in for his 3rd punt, again to Naz Worthen. Angling it, trying to get to the sideline, doesn't though. Worthen breaking the first tackle and giving the Chiefs decent field position as a result for their 3rd offensive series of the day. When we come back, Kansas City will have it just outside their own 20-yard line with no score. When we asked Marty Schottenheimer about Steve DeBerg, he said he really has an excellent understanding of the system. As DeBerg and the offense and Okoye have it on 1st and 10 outside of their own 20. Okoye lumbering to the 26-yard line. It's a level of trust and respect that Marty Schottenheimer has for Steve DeBerg. The players around him have a much better understanding because he's certainly done a fine job for Kansas City. Steve DeBerg, Marty Schottenheimer was adding that he thinks DeBerg will eventually be a coach.
I was talking to Carl Peterson before the game, the general manager. He said that he certainly wants to talk to him about being a coach if he's crazy enough to want to be one. I don't like the hours.
2nd and 4 from the 26. DeBerg going deep for Page. And Lee bumping his way down the sideline with Page. Was there every step of the way.
Stephon Page is a big play receiver. And there is Mr. Lee, Mark Lee. That's a fella that I played against. Still doing the job. You see him trying to get a hand on Stephon. Stephon just bumps in and tries to fade to the sideline. Ball just a little bit overthrown. Why is Mark Lee still playing and I'm not?
I thought that would make you feel young, partner, that he's still around.
I'm not playing because I don't want to. How's that?
Good thought.
Will you buy that?
Good thought. I'll take it right now. 3rd and 4 for DeBerg, working out of the shotgun. 4 wide receivers setting up. He wanted Rob Thomas. It would have been an incredible catch if he could have come up with it. Mark Murphy was draped all over his back. So the Packers ready to get it back. When we return, let's check in with Bob Costas now for an update.
Joel, Cincinnati's all over New England at Riverfront. Everybody faked out by the play-action fake of Boomer Esiason. Up top to Eddie Brown, 42 yards, touchdown. Moments later, New England fumbles, Cincinnati recovers. Then they score on a Lee Johnson pass off a fake field goal to Rodney Holman. 17-0 Bengals in the first. Joel?
Jeff Query waiting for the punt from Goodburn. Thank you, Bob. And Query at the 32. He almost broke the last one. Gets a good block and again takes himself down, stumbling over his own 2 feet outside of the 40 to the 44-yard line.
Query having a little bit of problem with those lines on the field. It looked like that one jumped up and grabbed his leg. This is a great returner, Query, going to the side, trying to find some room to run. Now, once he finds a spot to turn it upfield, watch him get ready to turn left. There he goes now. And all of a sudden, he gets caught up on something, and there was nothing but clear running in front of Query on that one.
Are those Velcro bottom shoes he's working with?
I don't know. I think it's those lines on the field that are bothering him.
Query out of Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois.
What's their nickname, the Millikan?
We'll get it by the end of the day. Mikowski throwing on 1st and 10 from his own 44. Almost puts it into the hands of Hackett, and it's intercepted in the deflection by Kevin Ross. Hackett touched it. Ross grabbed it. And the Chiefs get it back.
Anytime a ball is missed and jumped up in the and bounced up in the air, it always results, or 90% of the time, in an interception. I used to have a coach say, if you're going to miss it, knock it down. Don't knock it up. Here you see Mikowski trying to let this ball go. It's knocked up in the air by Hackett, and Porter just plays a little basketball and comes down with the rebound. Once again, a lot of pressure on Mikowski. Tries to just release this ball. Hackett goes up, knocks it up. Boy, speaking of knocking.
Thank you, Derek.
Mikowski gets knocked down by Derek Thomas.
So the best field position so far to start our drive for the Chiefs is at their own 48-yard line with 1:19 left in the first quarter. Stephon Page in motion. They're in the I. And Christian Okoye breaking tackles into Packer territory. For the Green Bay 48-yard line for 4 tough yards.
One of the things that you cannot do to Christian Okoye is intimidate him. He had a tough game last Monday night, and still in the 4th quarter, he was still going out punishing people. He cannot be intimidated. He's got 7 rushes for 40 yards.
I loved his first line when we talked to him yesterday. He said, what was it like in Denver? He said, they wanted to kill me last week, but I try to make it easy on them, let them think that they're winning the battle. Okoye to the 45-yard line.
Tackled by the entire Green Bay defense.
He has a great attitude.
Now, this is the one way that you can stop Christian Okoye, is if you take your entire defense, move it up to the right, and then just have them all just pile in. Watch Okoye move this pile back. Everybody tries to get a hit on there.
Now, some teams say they love Christian Okoye, but others have said, hey, maybe he limits their offense a little bit too.
I played with one of the greatest running backs of all times, O.J. Simpson, who rushed for a record 2,003 yards and caught 6 passes in that season. So if he's limiting, I wouldn't mind him limiting him.
Alfredo Roberts can't hang on. He would have been way short of the first down anyway by a good 3 yards. DeBerg was rattled and chased out of the pocket. Matt Brock applying the pressure again.
In a game like this, Joel, this back and forth jostling in the middle of the field, one big mistake is going to be a turning point. All of a sudden, neither team can do anything. One big play, and they've almost had it. Green Bay's almost had it with a couple of punt returns, but one big play, and Marty Schottenheimer knows that, and this game could turn around immediately.
In his 4th year from Emporia State, and we'll get their nickname before the end of the day as well. Kelly Goodburn.
I wonder if they play Millikan.
Ready to punt it away to Jeff Query, and it's off the side of the foot of Goodburn. Does he ever get a break on the roll, though, as it goes out of bounds at the Green Bay 14-yard line on the final play of the first quarter. So it's right where we started, scoreless so far, as we get ready to return to Green Bay. Welcome back once again to Lambeau Field. Joel Myers along with Ahmad Rashad, and it appears we've got an old-fashioned slugfest going.
Well, this game is not very pretty, that's for sure. But in professional football, you just need to play better than your opponent. Neither one of these teams playing very good right now, but, you know, one big play and they can turn around.
Now, at the start of the second quarter, Mikowski and the Packers offense have it back for their 5th offensive series of the day. He definitely looks rusty.
He certainly was the big story coming in this game, and it's almost inevitable. The guy hasn't played in a long time, first time really under fire, and he really, you know, he does appear to be a little bit rusty. Hopefully he'll get better as the game goes on.
So the Packers have it to start the second quarter. 1st and 10 at their own 14-yard line. Mikowski doubling up his wide receivers to the same side. Backstay into block. And it's complete. As flaring out, it was Keith Woodside. He kept Fullwood back there, who applied a very nice block to help the pocket hold up. And Woodside, the 3rd-year man from Texas A&M, has it for a gain of close to 7 yards.
Those are the kind of throws that will get your rhythm back. If you don't try to go down the field too many times, just start throwing those little short passes, trying to get a passing rhythm and get back into the offense.
Don Mikowski was telling us yesterday it was scary in that matchup against Kansas City last week, as he's only 2 of 7 so far. He'd audibilize, and Kansas City knows his offense so well because of working with Lindy Infante in Cleveland. They'd make reads and changes before he was almost through with the audible. It's Woodside, or Fullwood rather, on the carry. He spins for a couple of yards to the 23. Cincinnati increasing their lead.
Chicago increasing their lead, 6-0 over those Vikings.
Miami hanging tough at the Meadowlands, only down by 3. As Cleveland continues to stay on top by 4. As we update you on the 10-minute ticker with 13:50 and the clock moving now. Left in the first half. Nothing doing so far on the scoreboard between these two. Mikowski working out of the shotgun on 3rd and 2. Pocket holding up. Fontenot's got it, and Fontenot's got a first down. Made a great grab because as soon as he took it in, he was really hit. The defensive back Lloyd Barrows got to him.
Lloyd Barrows is a big hitter. You know, when you catch a ball like that, you know you're going to get hit anyway. Here, Mikowski firing it right in there. Did a great job of holding on to the ball and getting that first down.
Lindy Infante, the offensive coordinator for Marty Schottenheimer for 2 seasons in Cleveland. That's to be eerie for a quarterback when he makes changes at the line and the defense knows his call.
Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter if they know what your call is. It comes down to execution. If you can run the play, it doesn't matter where, you know, for years Green Bay used to say, hey, we're running a sweep, stop us.
Mikowski hit in the backfield with flags down to the play. He's sacked back at the 25-yard line by Jeff Donaldson. It almost goes back to that old theory of Chuck Noll. You knew he was going to trap on you, but you had to stop him because they were very precise about what they did.
That's the truth. There's Jeff Donaldson filling in for a great player.
Holding number 57 defense. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Deron Cherry, one of the great defensive backs in the league, not here today. He's got a knee injury, but I understand he's back practicing, and boy, when he gets well, they will have some depth.
Chris Martin is called on that hold, which gives the Packers an automatic first down. Back to your point, I was talking to the president and general manager, Carl Peterson, before the game. Cherry is a month ahead of schedule. He will be eligible in week number 7, and Carl feels that he'll be able to play in week number 7 for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Bad news for quarterbacks around the league.
1st and 10 for Mikowski for his tight end West. He's got it, but he's only got a yard on the reception.
That's a tough way to get a yard. Throw the ball 30 yards and gain 1. that's a tough one. Of course, you know, when you're a tight end, you're happy to get the ball anytime you can get it. But that's way under his average. You see, he averages 20 yards a catch. That'll bring that average down.
Ed West is in his 7th year from Auburn. As maybe early, Ahmad, Mikowski is looking for the first one as opposed to the 2nd and 3rd options in his passing attack.
I think he's just trying to get his rhythm. I think he's trying to just go to the short underneath receiver, trying to get some rhythm going.
Fullwood and Woodside in the backfield. Straight and deep drop from Mikowski. And he goes to his back. Keith Woodside. It's complete to the 37. Woodside complaining. He was upset at the end of that play.
Is that what he was doing?
Or was he upset that he missed the lottery?
You see Mikowski throwing that same ball. The way you keep Derek Thomas off you is you make him play pass coverage.
There's what he was complaining about, the late hit by Dino Hackett. That could have been a flag.
Dino Hackett did come in late.
3rd and 4 on the 30.
Chiefs have already had their share of penalties. They have picked up 4 already this afternoon. It's 3rd and 4. Chiefs putting extra men on the line, bringing the blitz, and going deep. Fontenot's there. He's got it. Mikowski beat the blitz. Herman Fontenot in the reception. Burris back with Martin. They couldn't keep up with the running back, though, and it's all the way to the Kansas City 33 for 29 yards on the reception.
Herman Fontenot, one of the best in the business, of coming out of that backfield. And I talked to Coach Pete, the offensive backfield coach, and he said, we get this guy in there, we get a mismatch on a linebacker or the 5th defensive back. We feel like we can get him going down the field. And there you see him running on a linebacker. That is certainly a mismatch. And anytime they can find that, they got a big play coming. And Fontenot is a big play player, whether he's running the ball or coming out of the backfield with it.
1st and 10, Green Bay at the Kansas City 33-yard line. It's Woodside, and he's got yardage to the 29. Picks up 4.
Before the game, Marty Schottenheimer was telling Herman Fontenot that don't do anything against us today. Of course, they were player and coach at Cleveland for so long, and he was a big play player there. There you see Willie Pete, whose son is quarterbacking the Detroit Silver Stretch.
It's got to be tough 2 weeks each year.
That's
going up against your own son.
Mixed emotions.
I want to beat him, but please don't take his head off while you're trying to get to him in the backfield.
That's right. Please don't hurt him.
And Willie Pete, before Marty Schottenheimer took over, an assistant coach for many years in Kansas City. This time it's Brent Fullwood. He loses it, gets it back, and falls forward to the 27-yard line. So 3 yards on the carry for Brent Fullwood, former first-round draft choice back in 1987 out of Auburn for the Packers.
In this passing situation, Fullwood comes out. Herman Fontenot comes in, and he is the guy that they try to isolate. He's the one they want to work on a 3rd down situation. He's a guy that has to know a lot of things to play that position. You got to be able to read a defense, know where to take the ball. Willie Pete said he's one of the best at doing that.
8.5 minutes left in the first half. 3rd and 5 for Mikowski. There's Fontenot, and there's another Packer first down. Down to the 21-yard line.
Once again, they know that Herman Fontenot is the guy that they're going to take the ball to, but they cannot stop him. Herman checks a defensive rush, then runs a little stop at him. He gets enough to get the first down, turns around, and keeps that drive going. It's so important to keep drives going by making catches like this. Those are the things that really give strength to your offense. And Fontenot, a guy I visited with the last couple of days, said that they've been holding back the last couple of weeks, but today he is going to get it together.
1st and 10, Green Bay, the 21 of Kansas City. Fullwood, Woodside once again to the backfield in the eye. 2 tight end set. And it's play action for Mikowski. Buying some time with some nifty footwork. Scrambling, and he takes it all the way down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. So a good run by Mikowski of close to 8 yards. Don't forget tonight on NBC, 2 world premiere movies. First, 7 of your favorite TV comedy stars go off to camp together in Camp Cucamonga. Then Veronica Hamilton, Judd Hirsch, along with Lee Grandstar, and She Said No. Powerful film that the critics have really praised. That's Camp Cucamonga, She Said No. Tonight on NBC.
Joe, we mentioned early in the game about the problems that the Green Bay offensive line was having, and we also mentioned the fact that Mikowski being so nifty foot-wise, it really will alleviate that problem.
Great nifty move, as you mentioned that word, by Brent Fullwood. This been away from a would-be tackler with flags down in the play. Fullwood inside the 12-yard line.
Percy Snow, number 59, coming in and trying to unload on Fullwood. He makes a nice move.
It goes against Green Bay. Percy Snow, Ahmad was just mentioning, the first-round draft choice from Michigan State. He is a load, a big one.
250 pounds, and that's a light.
Holding Number 70, offense. 10 yards, repeat second down.
Called it on the right guard, Keith Euchre, 7th year from Auburn.
You see Euchre trying to work on
An arm drag and a toss.
That's right, trying to work on Neil Smith, and just, I mean, I guess if you can't block him, hold him. Neil Smith working with 2 sore wrists. He's wearing a little cast on his wrist because he's had a problem with it. He just hurt another one last Monday. So he said it does give him a problem sometime when he gets down in his stance.
It is now 2nd and 13 back at the 24. Straight and deep drop from Mikowski, and throws behind Sterling Sharp, his favorite target. It almost looks like he wants to go to Sharp so often. Maybe he's forcing it.
Well, Sterling Moss was their big play receiver before, and you got to get a guy like that involved in the game.
Your Vikings are on the board.
Those Vikings.
When they're winning, they're your Vikings. Cleveland still with a 4-point margin as Washington has taken the lead over the Dallas Cowboys. And Phoenix, huge underdog at New Orleans, scoreless. Stan Petrie comes in along with J.C. Pearson. So the dime package in there now, the extra defensive backs for the Kansas City Chiefs on 3rd and 13. Pressure comes. Mikowski about to go down, and he does. Moss finally got him. Bill Moss. And Sally Amua again, though, in there.
Dan was the one that grabbed a hold of him, kept him from going anywhere. 4th down. They have got to go for the field goal here because they got down inside the 20 and started going the other way. You see Mikowski, we talked about him being a very mobile quarterback. He steps up inside the rush, but watch Dan. Let me try this one. Sally Amua.
You'd love it.
Grab a hold of him, and then Moss comes and finishes him off. Sally Amua, that's not so hard.
Chris Jackie, who has 14 straight field goals to his credit, dating back to last season, a Packer record. Going for a 46-yarder, and it's on its way and good. And the Packers finally on the board. As we have our first score of the day at Curly Lambeau Field. Make it 15 straight as he adds to his own record for this 70-year-old franchise. Following a 13-play, 57-yard drive that culminated in a 46-yard field goal by Chris Jackie. The Chiefs ready to get it back, but they'll get it back at their own 20. Jackie all boosted up after hitting his 15th straight field goal. Pushes it 7 yards into the end zone. And when we come back to Green Bay with 5:46 left in the first half, the Chiefs get it back at their own 20-yard line, trailing by 3. So an old-fashioned slugfest going on in a great old site in the upper Midwest.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by today's truck, Chevrolet. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. By United Airlines, serving over 200 cities in the U.S. and around the world. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Liberty Mutual. For your insurance and financial service needs, America believes in Liberty Mutual.
Kansas City gets it back for their 5th series of the first half. Play action for Steve DeBerg as they're down by 3. And it's Emil Harry for a first down. Nice pattern over the middle. And a perfectly thrown pass by DeBerg.
DeBerg is such an accurate quarterback and really in control. Emil Harry running a route from one side of the field where you just run away from defender. That's a great way to get open because there is no defender that can cover you all the way across the field. But during that last commercial, we got a chance to see Tim Harris do another one of the things that he does very well, and that's become a cheerleader.
Barry Word out of the backfield. Stopped after a couple of yards. They were rocking and rolling here in Green Bay while we were away, and Tim Harris was getting into it.
Tim Harris gets this crowd excited to the sounds of Otis Day. Now, look, he's going, I can't hear you. He needs more noise. Tim Harris, I wonder if he gets a little extra something in his paycheck for cheerleading.
Now, I know you weren't a yell leader during the basketball season at MacArthur Court in Eugene for the Fighting Ducks.
Yes, I was. Quite a few times. Tim Harris, 2nd in the NFL last season with 19.5 sacks, also 1st in terms of cheerleading.
DeBerg with pressure from Harris, and it's off the hands of Thomas. Great pressure by Tim Harris. That's where that hurry pays off. Jerry Holmes defending on the play.
I've always made the point that it's almost more important to get a hurry than it is to get a sack. You watch Tim Harris, number 97, just come bearing down, and DeBerg just gets rid of that ball. He also takes a lick, and Harris knows he's done his job. Now this catch here, just a little, you got to come up with those catches. You must catch that ball.
Especially when your quarterback takes a beating in the process. It's now 3rd and 8. Just outside of the Chiefs' own 40-yard line with a little bit better than 4.5 minutes left in the first half. Flags out of the play, and it's complete. Pete Manley with room to work. He's got it down to the 35. The defensive back, Jerry Holmes, was all over the line of scrimmage for Green Bay, and I believe he just broke that area of encroachment.
He was trying to time his rush to the snap of the ball, and all of a sudden, I'm sure DeBerg knew.
Offside, number 44, defense. Penalty declines, 1st and 10.
He was still dancing to Otis Day and the Knights.
Yeah, he knew that he had a free play. And you watch Pete Manley, just a little underneath pattern where you start running across the field. They want to get to the ball early so you can run with it, and watch Manley go to work once he catches it.
Pete Manley.
They call him Batman. Said he has a Batman logo on his game shoes and has a black car that looks like the Batmobile. Right down there, he turned one of them defensive backs into the Joker.
And playing today. Despite battling the flu all week, broken play with flags into the air and a dump off. That's Bill Jones with it, and Jones taking it to a 1st down. But flags in the offensive backfield. And was there ever confusion in that offensive set?
The play worked, though. They had to put that in.
Mass confusion, it worked.
Illegal shift. 2 men on offense moving and not resetting before the snap.
We're not that far from Canada.
A little Canadian influence there on that offensive play. Everybody moving.
So on 1st down, it's a mark off of 5 yards.
Tim Harris there. Not only cheerleading, if he had a flag, he'd have thrown it. Tim Harris all around today. He's sacking the quarterback, cheerleading, throwing flags.
He was a bit frustrated when we talked with him yesterday as Barry Word gets a block to the outside, and Barry Word takes it near the 1st down marker. He gets 14 on the carry. Scott Stephen, the outside backer, making the hit, but far too late if you're a Packer fan. Let's go to Bob Costas once again in New York.
All right, Joel, here's San Diego quarterback Billy Joe Tolliver dropping back to pass at Cleveland. He pumps once, he pulls it down, tries it again. Now he wishes he hadn't. It's intercepted by the Browns linebacker Mike Johnson. You guys were talking about Batman a moment ago. Look at all these offensive linemen waddle like the penguin in pursuit. They can't catch him. 7-3 Cleveland.
It's a
nice
theme
one,
party.
Bob.
A theme party in Green Bay.
Nice one, Bob.
2nd and a little bit better than a yard. With Stephon Page in motion, a 2 tight end set. And the big one, Mr. Okoye, for a 1st down for Kansas City. They've been moving more backs in and out, Kansas City has, than I've seen in the last year and a half.
Anytime they can keep Okoye fresh, then fufu, a combination of vegetables with a base of chicken or goat meat. That's his favorite food. I thought it was linebackers because he's been eating up a lot of them here this afternoon.
Christian told us yesterday, after a game on the grass, he still feels fresh. It's tougher playing at home when he hits the turf at Arrowhead Stadium. 1st and 10. Best penetration of the day by the Kansas City Chiefs. And one other drive, this close, but it was fumbled away by Stephon Page. There's the play action. Barry Word on the completion inside the 20. Near the 17-yard line.
And Steve DeBerg is operating now. He is so comfortable. You just watch him work. He comes out, hits the first guy. You know what he's doing? He's hitting his backs early enough so they can catch the ball and then run with it. A lot of quarterbacks will hold that ball too long till by the time they throw it to you, you got like 1 step before you get laid out.
We have reached the 2-minute warning in Green Bay with Kansas City driving, but they're trailing by 3. 2 minutes remain in the first half, and the Chiefs in the middle of their best drive so far over the first 30 minutes of play. DeBerg has him on 2nd and 6. Down at the 17-yard line. Christian Okoye trying to bounce outside, and Brian Noble tripped him up. He's one of those other cheerleaders.
That was a great play, and Noble giving Okoye a hand there. Watch Noble all the way read this play. Now here he comes. He takes on the block and still reaches out and trips. That's a great play by Noble. Just a heads-up play. He picks up that blocker, and then also is aware enough to stick an arm out and trip up Okoye. That's probably the easiest way to tackle Okoye, is right there on top of his shoes.
He and Harris are co-captains of the cheerleading unit.
They both get that little extra something in their paycheck every Monday for that cheerleading.
They love it. Minute 15 left in the first half. Critical third down. 3rd and 6. DeBerg with ample time. Going into the corner, and his man's held up. His wide receiver, Nasworthen, was held. 2 flags on the play. Burnell Dent, the linebacker, trying to keep up with Nasworthen. They're bringing Worthen occasionally out of the backfield today due to the injury to McNair.
Well, what happened was, as Worthen was running down the field, Burnell Dent just bumped.
Holding, number 65, offense. Holding, number 56, defense. The penalty's offset. Repeat, 3rd down.
Well, as I was saying, both those players from both those teams were holding.
Frank Winters upsetting Marty Schottenheimer to no end, because that would have been a 5-yard penalty for defensive holding and an automatic first down all the way down to the 12-yard line. Instead, it's still back at the 19, and it would have taken it actually to the 14, but now it's back at the 19 still for 3rd and 6.
Both these teams having trouble inside the 20. Once they get down there, they've both started moving backwards.
Bill Jones, the only one in the backfield. DeBerg setting up with time into the end zone. He wanted Page, and Page is bumped by Lee. I believe the pass was overthrown to the point where I don't think Page could have gotten to it anyway, but there was contact.
Mark Lee claiming that he was going for the ball, playing the ball, and it sort of looked like he was.
Number 22 on the defense. First down, goal to go.
Oh, boy, look back a minute. Let's see if there was any potential of catching the ball.
Here's Stephon Page just running a little fade pattern. Now watch, the ball is in the air now. Just an inadvertent bump by Mark Lee, but I guess when you get down in that area, you don't want to touch those receivers. And a sort of a questionable call, but as a receiver, I believe that you shouldn't be able to touch those guys down there.
Lindy Infante wants a timeout. 64 seconds left in the first half.
And a huge play.
Green Bay, number 1.
A huge play. Kansas City able to go down to the 6-yard line on that penalty.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Chiefs when we return. 1st and goal, Kansas City, just inside the 6-yard line. Okoye taking it over to the right side, breaking tackles. He's in. Touchdown, Kansas City. Is he ever difficult to bring down, especially trying to hit him up around the shoulder pads?
This is a loud, noisy crowd, and Christian Okoye has silenced all of them. Anytime you let a big, powerful back like this get a full running start at your defensive line, you can't stop him for 5 or 6 yards. He just runs through everybody. Scott Stevens, number 54, wanted no part of him, as he just barreled into the end zone.
2nd touchdown of the season for Christian Okoye. Nick Lowry on the point after try. And it's a 4-point lead for the Kansas City Chiefs. So Marty Schottenheimer and the Chiefs defeated Green Bay last year here during week number 14, getting their first score of the day, taking the lead with under a minute to play. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Bob Costas, Will McDonough, and O.J. Simpson, the NFL Live team, with scores and highlights, and also a visit from the commissioner of the National Football League, Paul Tagliabue. We welcome you back to Green Bay. There's 59 seconds left in the first half.
That will be those fellas' Christmas card. Look for yours in the mail, Joel.
I was hoping you'd say that. Packers sending Carl Bland back deep, along with Vince Workman. Bland to the near side, Workman to the far side, hash mark. And Kansas City with a 4-point lead. The wobbler will be taken by Bland. He fakes. So he picks it up at the 4. Bad break for the Packers, as they'll have it just outside of their own 10. Breakdown of communication between the 2 return men, and it cost the Packers. So go to their 2-minute offense. Back inside their own 15. Well, if you missed NFL Live today, Will McDonough was reporting that Bobby Hebert is not part of a three-way trade from the New Orleans Saints. And O.J. Simpson reported that Bill Polian, the GM of the Buffalo Bills, is refusing further comment on those bickering Bills.
I wonder if Ralph Wilson is going to cut or trade the general manager if he comments on it. I know he made that edict to the rest of the team. They need to just play. I mean, the way you get rid of all that stuff is just go out and play and win a football game. It's what Green Bay Packers are trying to do.
Packers have it 1st and 10 of their own 13. 2 timeouts left. 53 seconds on the clock. Mikowski in trouble. And he will go down. Another sack for Kansas City. Derek Thomas.
Derek Thomas, the sack master. He made a comment earlier that the 80s was for LT, meaning Lawrence Taylor, and the 90s are for DT, meaning Derek Thomas.
Derek Thomas, a Pro Bowler, AFC Defensive Rookie of the Year last year, as Green Bay calls it timeout.
Derek Thomas is at his best. There is nobody that can block him man-to-man, not even 2 people.
Bringing back memories of Bobby Bell for Kansas City fans. Yesterday, Packer quarterback Don Mikowski told us there's one thing that he would look for on every play, and that's Derek Thomas. He needs to find out where Derek Thomas is, especially if he's on the left, and that's Mikowski's blind side.
Well, he found out where he was the last play. He was right on top of him.
7 of 13, the total of 66 yards. Mikowski, 2nd and long out of the shotgun to Herman Fontenot again with flags down to the play. Fontenot breaking a tackle for a couple of extra yards at the 17-yard line.
Good, smart play by Fontenot. Getting out of bounds.
Heads up.
Tony Mandrich tried to lobby Gordon McCarter. That never works. Once they throw the flag, they're going to call the penalty.
And will it be on Tony Mandrich, the 1st-round pick in his 2nd season?
Holding 75 offense. Half the distance, repeat 2nd down.
They call it on Ken Rutgers.
And the only way you can stop this man is you got to hold him. Look how strong he is. He's taking a 270-pound guy and just running him back into the quarterback.
So Derek Thomas with a sack. And on the very next play, he draws a holding call against Rutgers. Woodside, Fontenot in the backfield. 38 seconds remaining. 2 timeouts left for Green Bay, as Kansas City also has 2 left. And flags are down in the play. Was it delay of game?
Delay of game, offense, half the distance, still 2nd down.
Well, Kansas City had their problems with the penalty flags in the first 15 minutes of play, and now Green Bay is making up for it in the second 15. It's all the way back outside of their own 2-yard line. It'll still be 2nd down. That's the 4th penalty on the Packers for a total of 31 yards and assessments. And now all of a sudden, Kansas City ought to start thinking about using their 2 timeouts
To try to maintain that field position, because they could certainly, with a guy like Nick Lowry, you're always in range.
Mikowski in the quarterback draw. Just trying to find some breathing room, and he does so. She's spun down by Burris near the 14-yard line. Now does Kansas City use the timeout?
Timeout. Kansas City, number 2.
Smart move by Marty Schottenheimer with 29 seconds left in the first half. And a long 3rd down coming up. Kansas City still with 1 timeout left as Green Bay gets ready for a 3rd and 10. One of the very best coaches in the NFL. Ahmad, you mentioned earlier, one of the best teachers. And it was a pleasure talking once again with Marty Schottenheimer for a good length of time yesterday. He's got a great deal of confidence and respect for the unit he's working with. 3rd and 10 at the 14-yard line of the Packers. Movement and a free down. Derek Thomas jumped off on the opposite side. And the pass is behind Perry Kemp. But a free down is Derek Thomas. Just anticipated that snap count too much.
There is nothing you can really do when you have a player like Derek Thomas, who is so quick. He just gets, it's a great job by Mikowski. Mikowski pulled him off with the hard count. I guarantee you he'll be lining up ready to come again this next play.
Frustration for the young man that was the first Chief outside linebacker to earn the honor of a Pro Bowl spot, a starting Pro Bowl spot, since Bobby Bell way back in 1973.
Derek Thomas, one of my favorite players in the National Football League. Just a pleasure to be around.
25 seconds left. Do they get the first down? I believe so, yes, to the 25-yard line. Fontenot stretching out, got it by 1 yard. Now the Packers still have 2 timeouts remaining, but they have yet to utilize either.
I think they're just trying to get out of here without giving the ball up. That's exactly where Sterling Sharpe is already headed to the locker room.
It is rare when the Packers head to the intermission with boos in the background here at Lambeau Field, but that is the situation. So the Chiefs, after the first 30 minutes of play on that touchdown by Okoye, have a 4-point lead. We'll be right back to Green Bay after these messages from your local station. Chiefs lead it by 4. Ahmad surprised that they didn't use those final 2 timeouts.
Well, I think what was happening at that point, Green Bay did not want to do anything negative at this point. They just wanted to hold that ball, let the clock run out, and go into halftime and regroup.
Well, halftime continues in Green Bay. Be right back after these messages once again from your local station.
Okay, we resume now at halftime, and as promised, here's Commissioner Paul Tagliabue in the studio with us. We left off at the end of the pregame show talking about instant replay, and one point is that obviously there are big differences from game to game in the amount of available equipment. Does that concern you?
It doesn't concern me, I guess, for 2 reasons. Number one, the 2 teams are playing with the same amount of equipment in the game. And number 2, with our 2-minute limit this year for reviewing the video, no one's going to get 8 or 9 or 10 camera angles anyway. So we're basically going to be looking at roughly the same number of camera angles in each game.
Now, what about in a very big game, very big late-season game with that 2-minute rule in effect? And if after the 2 minutes have gone by, just for the purpose of enlightening the audience, the network covering the game comes up with what is now the definitive replay, and it clearly overrules the call that has just stood or should have, and you don't have the capability because of the 2-minute rule?
Well, the coaches said, you know, that we should strike a balance, and everyone felt we should strike a balance between having the game move along. As you know, the rule is that the replay has to be clear and indisputable. And if you can't make that judgment within 2 minutes, the consensus among the coaches and the teams was that we should go back to the field and play.
Will?
Paul, let's jump to a couple of issues you're going to have to deal with, I think, here shortly. How about Eric Dickerson? When do you anticipate making a decision with what's going to happen to him?
I think probably sometime this week I'll get back to Eric and to the Colts with some indication of what I think they should do and whether there's anything I can do about it, frankly.
How about Clarence Kay? I think you've got some kind of an idea of what you might do with his situation.
Well, Clarence, you know, was arrested for speeding, and I think I've seen enough now to convince me that Clarence should be permitted to play for the Broncos, and I have informed the Broncos of that recently.
There's some feeling in the league. You got an important meeting coming up Tuesday where the owners are going to come in to vote on a practice squad. Some of the owners think that this might be the first step towards a new collective bargaining agreement with the players. How do you feel?
Well, I don't see it quite so globally. I think it's important for 2 reasons. Number one, it's responsive to what the coaches and the football people want. They wanted these practice players, and I think management has an obligation to be responsive when it could affect the product. Number 2, I think it is significant that for the first time, representatives of the teams and the players have gotten together, they've listened to each other carefully, they've gotten off their positions and moved toward a middle ground and reached an agreement. That, I think, is significant.
Finishing up where we started, is it fair to say that replay coming into this season was again hanging by a thread? It seemed a couple of years ago it was sustained almost as a personal tip of the hat to Pete Rozelle. Then you had to step in and lobby again this time. Is it always on the brink?
Well, I think in this league there will always be some people who will oppose instant replay, but this year with the changes we made, maybe we'll have a stronger consensus at the end of the year. It's going to be interesting to see.
I wish we had more time, but we thank Commissioner Paul Tagliabue for stopping by. Will McDonough, O.J. Simpson, and I will be back as halftime continues in a moment. Okay, Will and OJ rejoin us here, and let's turn to Will McDonough for his comment about Commissioner Tagliabue's remarks concerning Clarence Kay. Now, this is the first time he has said definitively that Kay apparently will be allowed to return to the Broncos.
Well, he's already there, Bob. What he is saying is he's not going to suspend Clarence Kay and put him out for life over this one, and this is a big story in Denver. The other thing I would look at in what he had to say is a remark about Eric Dickerson. From that, I took that the Dickerson situation is not going to change, that a suspension will not be lifted at the end when he said, if there is anything I can do about it.
Something we can do something about is getting you updated on all the scores and highlights from around the league. They've just gone to the beginning of the second half at Giants Stadium. The Giants have completely dominated the Dolphins and lead Dan Marino and company 10-0. Marino at one point in the first half just 5 for 13. They've shut him down completely. Here's Pepper Johnson stopping Sammy Smith, the league's leading rusher through 2 games. Johnson from his linebacker spot, stuffing Smith for no gain. You hear a lot about Lawrence Taylor, but the whole linebacking core is terrific. Pepper Johnson, Taylor, and of course this man, Carl Banks, forcing the hurry here from Marino as he slams him down. With the Giants leading 3-0 on an Allegre field goal, the ageless one, Otis Anderson, gets over from the 1. The Giants looking to go 3-0 and hand the Dolphins their first defeat with the 10-0 lead early in the third quarter. In the game some of you are watching, Kansas City on the Christian Okoye 5-yard touchdown run, leading at Green Bay at halftime. Don Majkowski rusty, 7-3. Chicago has the lead at Soldier Field as the Bears try to make it 3-0 for the season. They've gone to halftime with a 13-6 advantage. Neil Anderson with an 8-yard scoring run, his 5th TD of the year already. 2 field goals for Kevin Butler, one of them of 51 yards. Donald Igwebuike also has 2 field goals from Minnesota. New England playing at Cincinnati, and how about this? The Bengals all over the Patriots to the tune of 31-0. Here's Mark Wilson, the former Raider, in place of the injured Steve Grogan starting this game. His first pass was intercepted, and it led to a field goal for Cincinnati. Then after that, Esiason goes to work off the beautiful play-action fake. He hits Eddie Brown for the 42-yard touchdown, 10-0 Cincinnati. A bit later, after a fumble recovery, they fake the field goal, and here's Lee Johnson flipping it ahead from out of the crouch 4 yards to Rodney Holman. They've scored every which way. James Brooks' 6-yard run, Harold Green from 3 yards out, the fake field goal. The Bengals look like they'll be 3-0. They lead 31-0 late in the second quarter. San Diego is playing at Cleveland. Cleveland has the halftime lead here, 14-10. The big play, an interception return of 64 yards for a touchdown by Mike Johnson of the Browns as he picked off Billy Joe Tolliver. Washington with the lead on a pair of field goals by Chip Lohmiller, 6-3 late in the second quarter at RFK. Both the Cowboys and Redskins are 1-1. Mark Rippon helped off the field with a sprained left knee and replaced, at least for the time being, by the Redskins' backup quarterback Stan Humphries. They will x-ray Rippon at halftime. Indianapolis playing at Houston. A pair of Warren Moon touchdown passes, each to Lorenzo White. The Oilers with the lead in the battle of 2 0-2 teams, 14-0 at the half. Phoenix playing at New Orleans. Good news for those Saints fans, you might have read about it this week, who took a vow of celibacy until New Orleans scored its first touchdown of the year. The pressure is off. John Fourcade, 14 yards to Eric Martin. Should be a hot time on Bourbon Street tonight. And we'll throw you back to the field right after this.
It is a magnificent fall autumn afternoon in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and welcome back to Lambeau Field. Kansas City Chiefs with a 4-point lead over the Green Bay Packers. I'm Joel Myers alongside Ahmad Rashad. And in the second quarter, it appeared, Ahmad, that Kansas City was starting to gain momentum in the trenches.
They were playing a little bit better, but, Joel, it's one of those strange things about professional football. It's really not so much how well you play, as long as you play better than the other team, because both of these teams are not playing very well at all.
We talked about it very early in the telecast. It'd be interesting to see how rusty Don Majkowski was, and over the first 30 minutes, he appeared to be off, especially with his timing.
I was surprised that they didn't go to the run a little bit more. I see that he started trying to throw little short passes, trying to get his rhythm going, but the way you take the pressure off the quarterback is you got to start running the ball and try to run against that Kansas City defense.
And that Kansas City offense really did start to run the ball. We saw that touchdown by Christian Okoye.
Christian Okoye, the Nigerian nightmare, re-emerged here today. Watch him take this run. Number 35 going to his right. Now watch number 54 from Green Bay, a linebacker that's supposed to be taking him head on. Here he comes. Oh no, nobody stops Christian 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 or sometimes 9-on-1 that we saw earlier in the game.
head on a contradiction of terms when you're talking about Scott Stephen in that instance with Christian Okoye. Keys now to the second half for both Kansas City and Green Bay.
I think Green Bay obviously has got to run the ball. They've got to start establishing things, and they've got to stop self-destructing when they get down inside the 20. A couple of times they got in there, then they started going backwards. And in terms of Kansas City, I think that Kansas City is just starting to warm up, and I think we're going to see them come to life in the second half.
Kansas City, I agree with you, really started to show some rhythm offensively over the final 15 minutes of that first half. And let's look at those first half numbers.
Yeah, they're basically pretty even. You look at yards rushing 66 to 61, yards passing 75 to 73, and it's all basically pretty even. We got a possession thing that is a little bit, the Packers leading the Chiefs by a little bit, but the score is 7-3.
Naz Worthen from his own goal line weaving his way with flags on the play out to the 22-yard line. So Gordon McCarter, the referee today, has had a very busy day.
Gordon came to work, and work he is doing.
Holding, number 55 receiving team during the return. Half the distance, first down.
You know, one of the things I enjoy in being able to stay around this football game is seeing these officials. You know, if you play a lot of years, you become pretty good friends with these guys, and it's great to see these guys, you know, every single week. Gordon McCarter, geez, I go back a long ways with him.
And I was told you worked them to the maximum as a player. You're a classic politician.
They're nice guys.
And they always receive Christmas gifts from you. It's back inside the 10. But Kansas City operates at their own 9-yard line. There's the Nigerian Nightmare. He's got a first down, and he's still on his feet down the sideline. Christian Okoye bumped out at the 26. He did most of the bumping, though.
Mark Lee, that was a nightmare for Mark Lee. You will see Christian Okoye take off the right side. There's Christian, 35. Now, Mark Lee has got to let the receiver go and come up and make the tackle. That is not fun. He does not make the tackle either. Christian Okoye down the sideline.
Number 72, David Lutz, really sealed off that inside linebacker and made the opportunity available. Two tight end set. Okoye stays in the backfield. That's his longest run of the entire season. As Okoye bounces outside again. And a flag goes down to the play as Okoye was already ruled down. No fumble on the play. Okoye close to the 33. Now, was it a hold on Kansas City? Yes.
Illegal block, number 81, offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, first down.
The old illegal block to the back against Rob Thomas.
Aaron Thomas not having a good game. You see him at the top of your screen, number 81. Now, he's grabbing a guy and then pushing him. He's trying to get in the way, trying to make a block, but you can't get your hands out there. As soon as your hands go out and you touch a guy, that's an illegal block.
Thomas, one of the two wide receivers set out, is Stephon Page. He's on the opposite side for Steve DeBerg on 1st and 20. DeBerg getting off to Okoye. And actually it was a 5-yard mark off, so it's back close to the original line of scrimmage. We'll bring up 2nd and long still.
And Tim Harris showing he's not just a pass rusher here. Watch him play the block off, come back inside, and make that tackle on Christian Okoye. He's a very active linebacker defensive end type. Not only a pass rusher, but he plays the full game.
Frustrated because he only had 2 sacks over the first 2 games. Marty Schottenheimer watches his unit work on the first offensive series of the second half. 2nd and 11. Play action for DeBerg. He's going deep, and he's got Rob Thomas, who hangs on this time near the midfield stripe.
That was a great fake by Steve DeBerg. He's the first one down the field to high-five Rob Thomas, but it was a great run fake. I actually thought the Okoye had the ball, and so did the entire. He puts the entire ball in there and fakes it, brings it back. Now he's looking for Thomas down the field. This ball, he strung him out just a little bit. Thomas goes up tough, makes the catch, and takes that lick.
Ahmad, would you say that DeBerg and maybe Boomer Esiason, the top two at deception in the backfield with a play fake?
Boomer Esiason is the best I've ever seen, and Steve DeBerg is not far behind. But when you have a big, powerful back behind you, you got to take the fake.
1st and 10 for Kansas City. This time it's Barry Word stacked up after a gain of just a little bit better than a yard by Brian Noble, the inside linebacker from Arizona State. Don't forget, tonight on NBC, it's a double feature. Comedy stars of your favorite TV shows going off to summer camp. It happens tonight in the movie Camp Cucamonga. And one of the most important movies of the year, the critically acclaimed She Said No, starring Veronica Hamill and Judd Hirsch. Camp Cucamonga, She Said No, tonight on NBC. Followed 2nd and 9 for DeBerg in the offense. 3 minutes gone by in the second half, and a 4-point lead for Kansas City with Page in motion. The misdirection of Barry Word, and his indecision probably cost him. I thought he was going to take it out towards the sideline.
I think he wanted to go out towards the sideline, but there was 2 players out there. He made the right cut.
Let's check now the Hurts 10-minute ticker. Miami down by a touchdown at the Meadowlands to the Giants. Well, it's also halftime in Chicago. A 7-point lead for the Bears trying to go 3-0. Cincinnati will be 3-0 at the end of the day. Cleveland leading by 4 and Dallas up by a field goal. Or make it Washington by 3. Big 3rd down to Steve DeBerg at the 45-yard line of Green Bay. This drive started back at the Kansas City 9. Movement. DeBerg got him offside. They made contact, but were they drawn off?
Yeah, they were drawn off by his count, by his signal count. Tiger Green was halfway in the backfield. Number 23 from Green Bay.
Encroachment, 23 on the offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Tiger Green in there playing like a Tiger. You watch the right side of your screen. He comes up on the line to try to blitz. Watch the right side of your screen. He'll just come sliding through. There's the blitz. There's no way he can get back. He was almost to DeBerg by the time the ball was snapped. DeBerg, you're not able, as a quarterback, you're not able to do anything to try to draw the guy off, but with just a hard count, a lot of times you can catch those defensive backs up there getting just a little bit antsy.
Lindy Infante told us yesterday as Steve DeBerg gets ready to come back out on 3rd and less than a yard that his defensive unit, with the exception of Tim Harris, really doesn't have that many big playmakers. They have to stay within themselves. They can't take a lot of chances.
And that's true. They play very well as a team. I mean, they just can't freelance out there. They got to play very well as a team. And as a team, they're going to have to stop Christian Okoye. I don't think there's any, there won't be any fake here.
Alfredo Roberts goes in motion on 3rd and inches. Okoye's got it. He's got the 1st down and then some, still on his feet. Gang tackling Okoye with flags down on the play. Out of the defensive backfield. 5 on the carry for Okoye. And a hold on Kansas City to negate that good run.
And these are the kinds of mistakes.
Holding, number 82, offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
These are the kind of mistakes that will really drive a coach crazy. This is such an important play to keep the drive going, to keep the momentum going. You see Dana Whitaker, the top of your screen, number 82, just trying to push out, and now he's got a piece of his jersey. I guess when you hold, you got to let go when the guy breaks away from you. But just as the defender started to pull away, Whitaker still had the piece of his jersey.
So now it's 3rd and 10. Back in Chiefs territory. And DeBerg has to work out of the shotgun with 4 wide receivers, 2 to each side. Here comes Tim Harris. DeBerg unloads, though. Rob Thomas has it, and he's got the 1st down for Kansas City. He's down to the 36 of the Packers.
Rob Thomas working very well against Jerry Holmes. Jerry Holmes just cannot handle him on those inside routes. And Rob Thomas coming off a concussion just last week. I've had some of those in my playing career, and a lot of times your vision is a little off. Your timing is just not quite there. But he's come along very well. Dropped a couple of balls early in the game, but now he is back to where he normally is, a sure-fingered receiver.
1st and 10 at the 36. Okoye, gang tackled after a gain of about a yard.
He should have been stopped 2 or 3 yards for a 2 or 3 yard loss, and he still carried players to the line of scrimmage. Christian Okoye says, I am getting better every day, man.
He's wearing lineman pads. He wears larger than normal pads for a running back.
Oh my God.
He loves that goat meat. The breakfast of champions, I guess. 9 minutes and 10 seconds left in the third quarter. They're showing the blitz on the outside. DeBerg goes to the opposite side, and it's complete to Emil Harry. Good look by DeBerg, because they were bringing Mark Murphy on the far side of the field.
A great pickup block by Christian Okoye, too. I mean, Mark Murphy came from the top of the from the right side, and Christian Okoye in there on a passing down just stopped him dead in his tracks. So Christian blocking very well and running the ball very well. The only time anybody has said anything about a negative is him receiving the ball, but I think I put that to rest when I told you that O.J. Simpson caught 6 passes one year, the year that he set the National Football League rushing record.
O.J. got, or rather Christian last Monday night got hit in the face with a pass. He says, I turned around, that thing was in my eyes before I could get my hands up.
I saw O.J. do that before.
3rd and 3. Play action to Burke and run it for the first time if he wants to. Instead, he goes for Emil Harry. First down, Kansas City, inside the 22.
Joel, I will tell you what makes this fake. Not only the fact that DeBerg is putting the ball into the runner's stomach, but just look at who the runner is. You know that, 80% of the time they're giving the ball to this guy. You must go up and try to stop him. That's what helps the faking. Now all of a sudden DeBerg comes out, and this is a great throw on the run, right on the money there. It really helps to have, a great running attack that helps your play faking. There's the same play, except he hands him the ball this time.
And Okoye gets 3 to the 19-yard line. I thought it was interesting. We talked for a long time yesterday with Steve DeBerg, and he had mentioned that this is the most comfortable that he has ever been in his career. He's got a great supporting cast like Okoye. There's no doubt about that. But he's not looking over his shoulder anymore, Ahmad, wondering who's about to take his job.
Well, that's what I told him in the meeting. I said, I just watch him play. He has so much more confidence. He's finally gotten to it on a team that they have made a commitment to him that he is the quarterback. So he said, maybe next year they might draft a #1, but I'm enjoying my time in the sun.
2nd and 7. DeBerg going for his man, and it's knocked down away from Stephon Page by Mark Lee.
It looked like Mark Lee grabbed a piece of his jersey on the way going by. If he did, he certainly got away with one. Watch Stephon Page move inside. Watch Mark Lee's right hand. Huh? Was that a little pull?
If it was tearaway, he'd have a piece of it in his hand still.
That's right. Well, they're even now. He got a bad call earlier, and they let this one go. But I guess he showed right now why he's still playing. 11th year in the league. He's got 31 career interceptions.
So now 3rd and long. 3rd and close to 8 at the 20-yard line. Opening drive of the second half. The Chiefs have had it now for 7.5 minutes. DeBerg over the middle. Page couldn't come up with it. It would have been way short of the first down marker anyway.
That was a blitz, and Steve DeBerg realized that the man that leveled him was his man. It was a great play. DeBerg knows the blitz is coming. So does the outside receiver. He just lets it go in a hurry, and he just gets unloaded on by Tony Bennett. But that's a play that you know is coming. Anytime you got a blitz like that and the guy comes free, the receiver has to see that also. And as soon as the guy comes free, he's got to run that little break-in pattern. And DeBerg delivered it just a little bit low. Most of the time, Stephon Page would make that catch. He wasn't able to hang on to that one.
Second most accurate place kicker in NFL history, Nick Lowery, on the play fake. They're going to run for the first down, I believe. No! The punter, Kelly Goodburn, the holder, is stopped just short of the first down marker. Great lateral pursuit on the fake field goal attempt at the 14-yard line. I thought he had it, but he didn't have enough speed to get out there.
That was a great play call. Great play call, but you need Willie Gault or somebody to run that play.
So a gamble does not pay off for Schottenheimer.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Diet Coke with 100% NutraSweet. You'll drink it just for the taste of it. By Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. Magnavox, smart, very smart. And by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
A great idea by Marty Schottenheimer does not pay off. He's out of the backfield. Brent Fullwood gives the Packers some breathing room up to the 20-yard line. I love the initiative, though, of the Kansas City Chiefs on that fake field goal attempt, Ahmad.
This was a great call, but maybe 8 yards was just a little bit far. It was 4th and 8. Maybe 4th and 4, they get the first down, but Kelly Goodbarn ran out of leg. He short-legged this one. It was a very good call. You got Nick Lowery, and you know he's going to kick now. At this point, he just doesn't have the speed to turn that corner and can't get up there for that first down. He was laboring after about a 4-yard game.
And then after that punter is hit like that by 3 big ones over the sideline, what am I doing this for? 2nd and 4 from the 20. Mikowski on the play action, getting a block device in time. Was his receiver in bounds? Yes.
Was
Sterling Sharp.
Was Mikowski in bounds? It looked like he was about to go right off the field before he threw that ball, but there was an official right on top of it. Watch Mikowski rolling out here. Now, just watch just before he throws the ball. Here he comes up next to the sideline. Yeah, great call by that official, right on top of the play.
And look at the toe dance by Sharp.
Great call by both officials. It's amazing to me that they're always in the right spot.
First down outside of the 31-yard line. Let's see if the momentum shifts now for Green Bay, because Kansas City had it for the first 7 minutes and 36 seconds of the first half and didn't come up with a point. There goes Brent Fullwood. One of the better runs of the afternoon for Green Bay. 8 yards up to the 39-yard line. So we take another look now at the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Still a 7-point lead for the Giants. 7 points is the margin between Chicago and Minnesota as well. Cincinnati is bombing New England. At one point it was 31-0. San Diego down by 4, and Washington still up on top by 3.
You always amaze me how you just look at those scores and figure it's 7. I'm over here counting on my fingers, and you're going 7-point lead, 6-point lead.
It's that abacus I bring every week with me.
It's that blackjack in Vegas you've been playing.
Too much. 5:05 and counting left in the third. 2nd and short. Fullwood gets it again. Fullwood's got the first down into the secondary. A gain of 10 to the 49-yard line.
Before the game, I spoke with Brent Fullwood, and he was a little bit upset that he hadn't been getting the carries that he wants. He said, I've only carried the ball 4 times last week. Watch Fullwood here with a misdirection play. Now, once he gets going, he starts to bear down. Great blocking, great hole, and a very good run.
Coming into the game, Ahmad, Fullwood didn't even average 2 yards a carry on 20 attempts over the first 2 weeks.
He said he needs to get into the flow of the game. He needs to carry the ball a lot more, and it appears to be that if Green Bay is going to do anything, they're going to have to try to run on Kansas City.
Kansas City, the worst in the NFL at stopping the run coming into the contest, giving up over 5 yards per attempt to the opposition. Fullwood, the workaholic, all of a sudden for Green Bay. For 2 into Kansas City territory to the 49-yard line.
With all that speed of Kansas City, they allow 5.1 yards a rush, which is the worst in the NFL. It's awful early now. It's only the 3rd game of the season, and they're definitely going to improve on that. But when you have players like Neil Smith and Derek Thomas and Percy Snow and all these speed players, the way you neutralize them is you try to run the ball. Don't let them get their ears pinned back and run and rest the passer.
This was a concern of Marty Schottenheimer's coming into the game. 2nd, a little less than 9. Fake on the delay. Going for Woodside. Tough one for Woodside to come down with. Saliamua over there. Also there, Kevin Porter, the strong safety. That stops the clock with 3:27 left in the 3rd quarter. It's still a 7-3 lead for the Kansas City Chiefs.
They have been trying to keep the pressure on Don Mikowski. 9 for 16, 85 yards and 1 interception. I think that the Chiefs would love him to throw because they realize he's only been in camp a couple of weeks. I think at that point they feel like they've got the mismatch. Once again, they got him in a throwing situation.
They put trips to one side, trips to the far side. 4 wide receivers overall for Mikowski out of the shotgun on 3rd and long. Here comes the pressure. Rolls away from it, and it's complete to Query. Query's down to the Kansas City 37. Chris Martin flushed him out of the pocket, the linebacker, and it paid off because his receiver was in the same direction.
And you see Mikowski getting in sync with his offense. Watch number 27 pick up this block, and Mikowski just runs right away from it, very calm, and delivers the ball right on the money. Mikowski getting better as the game goes along. It's only a matter of time for him. It was no fluke last year that he had the year that he did. He's a great player. He just needs more playing time.
First and 10 now. Outside of the 37, and you wonder what kind of boost it was, and it appears to be a big one after stopping Kansas City on that big field goal attempt. It's Fullwood, and he is bottled up. Falls forward to the 35 for a gain of only 2 as we head to Bob Costas now for an update in New York.
Okay, Joel, here's a sequence where instant replay played a part. Jack Trudeau of the Colts drops back to throw at the Astrodome with his team trailing 14-0. He hits Billy Brooks at the back of the end zone. They rule it no catch. He didn't get both feet down. They check the replay, and the official's ruling is sustained by the replay official. They settle for the field goal, trail 14-3.
2 minutes, 20 seconds left in the third. Green Bay is driving. This is their first offensive series of the second half. It started back at their own 15-yard line. And now they're looking at 2nd and 8 at the Kansas City 35. Mikowski on the dump off. It's complete. Perry Kemp bumped out at the 31. Short of the first down marker by close to 4 yards.
That's another Lindy Infante. That's a tough way to get 4 yards.
Well, Perry Kemp played under Lindy Infante, who we're looking at right now, also, at Jacksonville in the USFL.
Also, Herman Fontenot, a very important part of Lindy Infante's offense, played in his offense at Cleveland. These are a couple of guys that he got back because he knew that they were very important in the sort of offensive attack that he has.
They call the Infante attack the pass to daylight offensive style.
Throw it where they ain't.
3rd and 3. And Mikowski's going deep as his receiver is bumped down. Clarence Weathers may not have been able to get to it, but he was knocked down in the process. Albert Lewis making the contact.
Marty Schottenheimer arguing that he couldn't catch the ball. Albert Lewis totally out of the play. Here comes Burris over, and he pushes him, but it certainly appeared that he had no chance of catching that ball. But that's just a decision that the official has to make.
Very similar to what we saw in the first half on the flag thrown against Mark Lee on Stephon Page.
Dick Creed, the side judge, not making a call there. But the other official had a much better view, and he called pass interference. And this is a huge play. You see Anthony Dilwig, number 8 there, signaling in the plays.
So the deepest penetration for Green Bay comes by way of the penalty flag. Fullwood out of the backfield. He's in. No, they stop him. Initially, hands went up, but the lineman rushed in, said he's at the 1 or 2 inch line.
Well, that's a tough mark right there. Yeah. We'll see this sideline view here. This is football. Everybody just powering ahead. Here comes Fullwood. Misses one block. Now he starts to power forward. And he didn't make it. That ball did not go over the goal line.
Ren Fullwood, former first-round draft choice, behind Michael Haddix in the eye on 2nd and goal, just inches away. Fullwood. Did he make it this time? No. And it's a fumble, and Kansas City, I believe, came up with it. Yes. They lost it on a punishing hit on Fullwood.
Percy Snow appeared to just explode on Fullwood. Put his helmet right on the ball, knocked it loose. Dino Hackett also on the play. And boy, did Kansas City dodge a bullet there. Once again, just a power play to the right. Fullwood trying to power in. Now the ball's knocked loose by Percy Snow. And Lindy Infante There's nothing you can do. A fumble is like the most helpless you ever feel because there's nothing you can do to avoid a fumble. All you can do at the player when he comes to the sideline is say, hold on to the ball.
Well, the play is being reviewed now by the instant replay official.
It's probably the point where they should have used the hurry-up offense. We'll take another look at this. I think they think maybe Fullwood was stopped before he fumbled. There you'll see him power into the line. There's the hit right there. There's the ball. It popped loose right away. That's definitely a fumble. Kevin Ross with a great shot. Number 31 came on and just knocked the ball loose.
Doesn't appear to be any question that Ross knocked it out of his arms before he was stopped.
Flat out of his arms. One more time. We'll see Fullwood with the ball. Watch number 31, Kevin Ross, come firing in right there. Ball is loose.
After review, the play stands as ruled. First down, Kansas City.
So a defense that has had problems stopping the run over the first 2 weeks and again this afternoon does come up with a big play to stop Infante's Packers.
And there it is right there. And after Joel and I reviewed it, we thought it should still stand.
Out of the end zone, it's Okoye into the secondary. Okoye stiff-arming Holmes and dragging him 15-20 yards. There's the breathing room. And then some.
That's right. Well, I tell you what, Jerry Holmes does not want to see Christian Okoye come running at him full strength like that. He's just trying to hold on and wait for help. Now this is tough. Okoye just off the right tackle, and he shows his speed. Oh, great blocking. Now he stiff arms Mark Lee. Now he's off to the races, and Holmes just, he got his mouthpiece knocked out. He's lucky that's the only thing that came off his body.
Stop the fight, ref, stop the fight. First and 10 to the 33-yard line. Play fake to Berg, going for his tight end, and Alfredo Roberts almost made an incredible grab around the 45-yard line.
Alfredo Roberts is a comer out of the University of Miami. Had a chance to make that grab. I know he's kicking himself all the way back to the huddle.
You know, we've been talking about is, we'll take another look at this play.
Alfredo Roberts, this ball's a tough catch. The tight end, he gets up and gets his hands on it. And Tim Harris puts a lick on him just as he tries to bring it down. He's just not able to hold on.
We've been talking about this Kansas City defense and the problems they've had stopping the run. Well, last year it was the opposite. Green Bay was the worst in the entire league at stopping the run, giving up 4.4 yards per average. So it's not a total surprise to see Okoye, and now it's Barry Word running the ball effectively this afternoon against essentially the same defense that the Packers went with last year.
But Okoye did that against everybody. It doesn't matter what your defensive average is. He comes in and changes that average. I think that's his intent.
That's the end of the third quarter. When we come back, it'll be a third and just about 5 for the Kansas City Chiefs. Be right back after these messages from your local station. 3rd and 5 to start the 4th and final 15 minutes in Green Bay for the Kansas City Chiefs. Outside of their own 37 with the Berg working out of the shotgun and a clean hit. Mark Murphy untouched on Berg, a fumble. The Packers' Tim Harris says he's got the ball. Gordon McCarter says it's still Kansas City's.
Steve DeBerg trying to find somebody downfield, and Mark Murphy comes in there like a shot. An obvious missed assignment.
Quarterback's nightmare, the blind side, is Goodburn. Gets a wobbler out. Query will take it on a big hop at his own 17. And he is up and in a hurry. Down first, Lloyd Burris. Little action at the end of the play. Better special teams coverage that time for the Chiefs. Packers have it back, but they're down by 4.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Keystone and Keystone Light, by bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right.
Welcome back to the city they love to call Titletown, USA, as the Packers won 5 NFL championships in 7 years, 61, 62, 65, 66, and 67. Mikowski is throwing on 1st and 10, breaking the containment and buying some time, picking up some meaningful yardage for first down across the 40. Did he ever fake out the Chiefs? They thought he was going to take the easy way out to the sideline.
We mentioned earlier about his mobility, and he is, I said earlier in the game that he's like a halfback. Once he gets out in the open field, 5 rushes for 37 yards. And here you see Mikowski, watch, he's getting a little pressure on the outside, runs around that pressure, and now he either passes or runs. And he's going to put pressure on the defense doing either one of them. Very nice move there. And that all-important slide, not taking that hit. I tried that once and got nailed to the turf.
1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Mikowski with pressure coming, and he's on his way down. Leonard Griffin got in there first. He was the one who pushed up. Don Mikowski for the others.
It was a mad dash for the quarterback on that one.
His team gave up 8 sacks over the first 2, 3 so far this afternoon.
Here Mikowski back and just not having a chance to do anything right there. Everybody is in on him. Leonard Griffin, the first one to get to him.
Tony Mandarich is the injured Green Bay Packer, their right tackle. As we come back to Green Bay with Kansas City up by 4. Last week, Mike Ditka told Tony Mandarich bozo. He responded by saying, if I'm a bozo, I guess I'm $1 million bozo. And Mikowski on 2nd and 18 slips out of the pocket. It's Perry Kemp on the completion outside of the 40 to the 42-yard line. Mandarich was involved in that last play when Mikowski was sacked for 8 yards. They were coming on his side. Medical staff attending to him as it looked like something went in his eye.
It's a nice tattoo he's got on there. See his right big bicep. That's a, what is that there? It's a skull and crossbones or something.
Told us yesterday he's playing like the old TM is back, a reckless football player. And he said he was surprised that Mike Ditka called him bozo. And Ditka also added that Mandarich could not even beat out their 2nd string for a spot on the Bears offensive line.
Well, Tony didn't help himself coming into the league by making all those outrageous statements. Offensive line is one of the toughest positions to learn how to play, and a lot of times it takes 5 years to become efficient at playing offensive line.
Pressure again, 3rd and 8, almost intercepted by Burris. And now we've got an altercation. Derek Thomas in the middle of it for the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't think you want to fight Derek Thomas.
James Campen, the combatant, the center for the Packers.
Because I mentioned that he could play almost any position on the field. I got a feeling if he wanted to be a boxer, he'd be a heavyweight contender.
I was going to say, and that's the heavyweight position as well.
That's right. He is not the person you want to tangle. If you want to get in a fight, go pick the kicker. Find the kicker and throw him around a little bit.
So now Green Bay and Bracken forced to punt it away to Kansas City with 12:25 left in the 4th quarter. 4-point lead for the Chiefs and Naz Worthen.
This will be a very important drive for the Kansas City Chiefs. A very important drive. They have got to get down and do something with the ball this time or they could be in trouble.
Stats can be misleading. We talked about that with Marty Schottenheimer yesterday. Over the first 2 weeks of the season, and he prides himself on defense. His group ranks 26th out of 28 teams in the NFL. They haven't looked that way so far today, though, as we come back to Green Bay. The Packers and Bracken ready to give it back to Worthen in Kansas City. Here comes pressure. Albert Lewis blocks it. The specialist gets to it. It's picked up by the Chiefs. And all the way inside the 5-yard line, it's taken by Kansas City's Lewis Cooper.
Some players have a knack for doing this. There is nothing you can do to block them. You see Cooper celebrating because he picked it up and ran with it, but the guy that made that play was Albert Lewis. Take a look at number 29 at the bottom of your screen. A hesitating move, then goes inside. Now watch him go right to the ball. Right to the ball, almost takes it right off the punter's foot. That's the way you block a punt.
Marty Schottenheimer told us yesterday they practice that at least once a week, if not twice a week in practice, and especially that layout.
It's a layout, but it's one of those things that no matter how many times you practice it, you can only do it in a game situation because you don't want to let your punter get his leg blocked off in practice. This is his 7th career block punt, and he thinks he can do it every single time.
Okoye in the backfield along with Barry Ward. Page in motion on 1st and goal from the 5 for Kansas City. And it's Okoye. Taking tacklers. Okoye diving just short of the goal line. He's inside the 1. Clock rolling with under 12 minutes to play. So the big playmaker, just like we saw last Monday night, if you were watching that matchup between Denver and Kansas City, Albert Lewis comes through again for the Chiefs.
That's a huge play in a game like this where it just has been ugly the entire game. Kansas City ran the ball 146 yards, Green Bay only 98 yards, and Okoye 115 of the 146 yards. That's what I say, when you make a play fake to Okoye, you've got to go for the fake. He's getting all the yards.
2nd and goal. From inside the 1-yard line. Who else but Okoye? And Okoye is strung out on the play. He loses yardage. Back at the 3. The lateral pursuit got to him. Good penetration.
When you got a big back like Christian Okoye, the last thing you want to do is have him running sideways. When you get down inside this area, you want to run that ball up into the line. Watch Christian now start to move a little bit wide, trying to find some running room. Actually, it was number 50, Johnny Holland. Johnny Howard, an old friend of mine. Johnny Holland got up there and forced him to run wide.
3rd and goal. Ball just inside the 3-yard line. Kansas City leads it by 4. Okoye stays in the backfield. DeBerg throwing. Has time. And he's going for an eligible tackle. It was a tackle-eligible play as they brought in Dave Zott. He had to report in. And that's where DeBerg was going. But it did not fool the Packers as they stayed with him. Jim Harris applying pressure on DeBerg in the backfield.
Andy Infante's defense. Here you see Dave Zott making a block. And now I guarantee you Zott is not the first guy he's looking for. He looked all the way around 3 times before he threw the ball to Dave Zott. And Marty here looking on at this play realized they're in trouble because DeBerg can't find a guy open, and at the last moment he's got to throw the ball to Zott. And that's just, I mean, you can't expect a guy to come up with a catch like that.
Now it's just like an extra point for Lowry on the field goal try of 20 yards. And it's a touchdown margin now as Kansas City increases their lead to 7. So they capitalize on the block, but not the ultimate situation for the Chiefs. They wanted the touchdown. He's extraordinary. All-time career leader for the Kansas City Chiefs in block kicks, and he just came up with a 7th.
Very much into this game. I talked to him before the game. He didn't even want to talk. It's like, I'm here to play. I got to just play. And play he has.
He's made it to 3 straight Pro Bowls. Albert Lewis.
Once again, another one of those Gremlin Tigers. Albert Lewis, one of the great defensive backs in all of football.
Workman and Bland waiting for the kickoff from Lowry. It'll be Carl Bland wisely staying in the end zone after a long effort by Lowry. So a 7-point lead here in Green Bay for Kansas City. Let's go to Bob Costas for an update in New York.
All right, Joel. Billy Joe Tolliver has rallied the Chargers at Cleveland with a pair of touchdown passes to Anthony Miller. First one covers 19 yards. He zings this one for 23 and a score. Late in the 3rd quarter, the upset-minded Chargers lead by 3. By the way, Ahmad's friend Johnny Howard just called, wants to have lunch on Tuesday.
Thank you, Bob Costas, as we look at the 10-minute ticker. And New York has increased their lead over Miami. San Diego taking care of those Brownies right now, but it's only a 3-point advantage. Mikowski beating the pressure, but he can't get away from the second man. Dan Saliamua, we have talked about him earlier, a Plan B signing from Detroit last year. The Chiefs can't believe what a find he has been, always around the ball.
You see the range that he has. It's just, nose tackles are supposed to just play the middle. Watch Dan just take off on the sideline and make a nice hit on Mikowski.
That is the 4th sack of the afternoon for the Kansas City Chiefs, resulting in a negative 22 yards from Majkowski in the offense. That was a 6-yard setback to the 14-yard line.
By Dan Saliamua.
Under 10 minutes left. Woodside, Haddix in the backfield. And 2 new guards in there now, too. Moran and Hallstrom for the Green Bay Packers. Starters for the Pack last year. Dump off, and it's Woodside. But he is clobbered in a hurry. He got near the 20-yard line, and that is it. Tonight on NBC, it's a double feature. 2 world premiere movies. First, a wild comedy, Camp Cucamonga, featuring 7 of your favorite TV comedy stars, followed by She Said No, starring Veronica Hamill and Judd Hirsch. One of the most important movies of the year. That's Camp Cucamonga, She Said No. 2 great movies tonight on NBC, and then tomorrow night, you can become a millionaire. You can pick up an NBC McMillions game card at your nearest McDonald's. Watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If your number matches the numbers revealed, you can become a millionaire. So watch The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Kickoffs, McMillions on NBC. Query, Weathers, the extra wide receivers, trips with an near side for Don Majkowski. On 3rd and 10. Pressure again. Majkowski delivers. And it's complete to Woodside, believe it or not, or no. Brent Fullwood. Fontenot's got it. Unbelievable. When it looked like a certain sack. Across the 30 for a first down, Herman Fontenot.
Great footwork by Don Majkowski. They had him nailed to rights. You watch Majkowski trying to find somebody. He gets out and just fires this ball to Fontenot. And Fontenot does the rest on his own. Not only a good receiver, but a fine runner after the catch.
Bill Moss couldn't believe the ball was thrown that close to him.
But we talked about this ability to avoid sacks by Majkowski. And we talked about also as Majkowski getting better each and every play. I think as you've been watching this game from the start, you see he is certainly doing that.
A huge first down on 3rd and 10. Now it's 1st and 10. Outside of the 30, Majkowski scrambling for dear life and running close to another first down. He takes a shot in the process, though. Dino Hackett rolled him pretty well.
He made a nice move on number 59, Percy Snow. We talked about his running ability. There's a couple of quarterbacks in this league that just can really run. You watch him take, you can't find anybody open downfield. Now watch this move he puts on number 59, Percy Snow. Percy Snow trying to overreact. He gets by him and then just gets nailed by Dino Hackett on the way down. I'm sure it maybe hit a little funny bone. Sometimes when you get hit like that, you get a tingle all the way down to the end of your hand, but he appears to be okay.
They're short of the first down by inches. When Hackett hits you, your whole body may feel like a funny bone.
You get that body funny bone.
7:42 remaining. A full complement of 3 timeouts for the Packers, while the Chiefs have 2 timeouts remaining. It's outside of the 41-yard line.
Don Majkowski, a very tough quarterback. Nifty, tough, has all the tools to become a great one.
He was right on target yesterday when he told us the Chiefs bring a lot of pressure up the middle, which is extremely difficult because it's tough to sidestep that.
Yeah, that's true. Anytime you want to put pressure on the quarterback, you want to come up the middle. That way the quarterback can't step up into the pocket.
Haddix has the first down on 2nd and inches. Across the 45 to the 46. Former #1 draft choice. The Philadelphia Eagles back at 83. Last year, these 2 teams got together week number 14 in a playoff type of atmosphere here at Lambeau Field. It was a 21-3 win. But the Kansas City Chiefs and Lindy Infante's Packers have yet to score a touchdown for the 2nd season in a row against Marty Schottenheimer's defensive unit. They still have 7 minutes left, though. They're down by 7. It's 10-3 Kansas City. 1st and 10 for the Pack. The 46-yard line. Delay. Haddix has it. Haddix has a big hole. Almost a huge gain. Stumbling after picking up close to 8.
Throughout this entire game, the Packers have not had a real problem moving the ball between the 20s, where the problem arises when they get down close to the goal line. There you see Michael Haddix picking a great block there by number 65, Ron Hallstrom, to spring Haddix loose for that extra yardage.
Call it 2nd and 2. Successful on the ground against Marty Schottenheimer's defensive unit.
Marty does not like this. Anytime you show that you can't stop the run, everybody in the league tries to run against you.
Woodside in motion, leading the way for Haddix. Haddix going nowhere. And does he lose the ball? Yes, a fumble. A fumble, and I think Kansas City got it. Yes, the Chiefs recover.
Bill Moss, number 63, came in on that tackle, and the ball popped out. And Kevin Ross, once again, the man of the hour, falls on top of it. And Lindy Infante just a little bit upset because he can get his offense just can't get going. Every time they're shooting themselves in the foot.
5 turnovers last week, Ahmad, against the Chicago Bears, and now 3 by the Packers against Kansas City after not coughing the ball up at all in their opening win over the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, they've been lucky that Kansas City hasn't turned in more points, but here you'll see, watch the ball pop loose right there, and Kevin Ross right on top of it.
Kansas City has it 1st and 10. Their own 44-yard line with Page in motion. Order of business. Okoye. And run out some time off the clock. Okoye for 3. Close to 4.
A year ago, Christian Okoye would have tried to take that ball outside. This time he saw all the blocking move to the outside, and he broke it back inside and picked up 4 or 5 yards. And that's just a learning process. You got to realize most running backs in this league have carried the ball tens of thousands of times from Little League all the way up. This guy just started playing the game 4 or 5 years ago.
Okoye with 116 yards, had 161 coming into the game over the first 2 weeks. Okoye again. And he slams it ahead right at the first down marker, the 46 of Green Bay.
Another great running decision by Christian Okoye. If you watch him at the point of attack, he takes the ball, finds a hole, and then powers it away. And I remember watching last year, he would have ran right into the pile. Watch this hesitant right here, picks his hole back, and now starts to power it away. That's just great running right there.
Taking a timeout for a measurement to see if Okoye did pick up the first down or whether or not it'll be 3rd and inches. 4 minutes, 59 seconds remaining. Does he have it? He is just short. Tough to figure out what they want to do with this next play.
I would expect Christian Okoye to run it right in the middle somewhere.
Don't forget, next Sunday it all starts with Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, and Will McDonough with NFL Live, and then Denver, Buffalo, Elway, and the Broncos traveling to Rich Stadium to take on the Buffalo Bills. Others will see Miami, Pittsburgh, Indianapolis, Philadelphia. At the Vet, Cleveland, Kansas City, a late game. So check your local listings for the games of the time in your area. Roberts in motion on 3rd and inches. 3 tight end set. Okoye for the first down to the 45.
He got that with a second effort because he was stopped right at the line of scrimmage, but just another little kept those feet going, and it just lunged forward, and that got the first down. You'll see Christian get stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Now he just keeps moving and falls forward. It's a very good block there.
And that first down essentially takes at least another 90 seconds to 2 minutes off the clock. Under 4:15 left.
The way this game is going, though, these teams have been shooting themselves in the foot. There's no telling what happens once they get down inside the scoring area.
It's a 10-3 lead for Kansas City. 1st and 10. They give it to Okoye. Trying to bounce it outside. Lateral pursuit gets him, though. He loses a yard and a half.
The Green Bay Packers just playing run right now. They just... Manley went in motion. Oh, that was Emil Harry that went in motion across the backfield. Nobody even picked him up. They just said, hey, you can run them receivers anywhere you want to. We're tackling Okoye.
Lindy Infante and the Packers have just used their first time out in the second half. So we'll be right back to Green Bay. 2 very close friends getting together today at Lambeau Field. Lindy Infante and Marty Schottenheimer. Marty said last year it was tough because it was the first time. But this year, not so bad.
Just another day at the office for both these fellas. And you know, the thing about this game is neither one of these teams have played a very good game. But the bad news, I guess, is one of them has to lose.
Outside of the 47, where it's 2nd and 12 for Kansas City. 3:49 remaining. 2 timeouts left for each team. Misdirection to Barry Word. Breaks the initial tackle. Gets away from Holmes, but Holmes hung on till he got some help. And that help came in the presence of Brian Noble. Only a gain of a couple. And to the benefit of the Packers, now, did they say he went out of bounds or not? No. The Packers have to use another timeout, as word did get down before hitting the stripe on the sideline. You cannot minimize the importance of this game for the Green Bay Packers because, Ahmad, this is their third straight home game to start the season.
That's true, but when you have a good team and you expect to be good and do well or make the playoffs, you've got to be able to win no matter where you're playing. You want to have an advantage when you're at home, and you know, if they can't win here today, they've certainly lost that advantage, but still you got to regroup, and Lindy Infante knows that. You got to regroup, and you got to be able to beat good teams and beat them in their own backyard in order to really be a legitimate playoff contender.
Plenty of mistakes by both of these teams, especially in the second half. We've seen a number of penalties throughout the contest and fumbleitis, a lot of turnovers in the second half.
Joe, I guarantee you, neither one of these coaches will show their teams the films of this game afterwards. One of them will win, one of them will lose, but they'll throw this thing away and move right on to the next one because there is really not many positives. The only positive you'll get out of here is if you win the game.
Packers with only one timeout left now after using that last one. Out of the shotgun on 3rd and 10 to Bird. Working with 4 wide receivers, and it's dropped by Page. But the pressure was coming from Mark Murphy on DeBerg in the backfield. He had to unload it in a hurry.
That was, even if he had caught that ball, it wasn't going to be enough for a first down. So the Packers, using their timeouts, have now got a chance to at least maybe tie this ball game up.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the Green Bay Packers and the National Football League is prohibited. Goodburn into punt.
I don't think anybody will have any use to watch this game again.
Goodburn with his best of the day. Does he get it to die inside the 5, though? No. The Packers get a break. It's a touchback. And Green Bay, if they can move it 80 yards, can tie it up with 3:25 left. This will be the 4th series in the second half for the Packers.
And they've got this crowd fired up because they know that it's close to do or die time. Majkowski has so many times before been the catalyst to this football team when they've gotten this situation. He's been the one that's brought them back. And as you see that sign, magicians don't have nightmares.
They believe in the magic man. First 3 possessions for Green Bay in this half has resulted in a fumble by Fullwood, a block punt by Albert Lewis, and a fumble by Haddix.
We have not heard from Sterling Sharp in quite some time.
Very, very quiet. He does not have a catch in the second half. Majkowski going up top and overthrowing Clarence Weathers. It's interesting because Sterling Sharp told us yesterday I had 2 catches the first week, 4 the second week. Majkowski's back. Maybe I'll have 13 or 14 this week. Didn't work out that way.
Wishful thinking, but I'm telling you, Kevin Ross doing a very good job on Sterling Sharp. And Green Bay now down to 1 timeout, which is going to loom very large here for the rest of this game.
The best we've seen of Don Majkowski, Ahmad, has been when he's on his own, scrambling and leaving the pocket. 2nd and 10, the 20-yard line. 2 wide receivers to each side. Fontenot, the only one in the backfield. Pressure again, unloads, and throws it wide of Query as Burris buried Don Majkowski.
I think Query a little late getting into that cut. You, as a wide receiver, you have to feel the blitz. And when you see the linebacker go inside of you, you got to break that ball in there right now. You can't run the same, you know, you got a pattern and you're supposed to run it 10 or 12 yards. But if you get a blitz, you got to come in there right now, right away. And that's what Sterling Sharp is telling Query now. The blitz is, watch the blitz. Here comes Burris right now. He should be coming across the middle of the field. Majkowski lets the ball go, and Query's still into his route down the field. You've got to turn that ball around right away.
So the read has to come from the wide receiver as much as the quarterback.
Right away.
3rd and 10 from the 20 with 3:15 left. Flags up into the air with movement on the line. Majkowski throwing. Is it taken in right at the 30, or is it a trap? Incomplete. They said it was hitting the ground before it hit Perry Kemp. One official said incomplete. Yes. And they're bringing it back to the 20.
We also got an offsides call here. I could have swore I saw some handkerchiefs on the field.
There was a flag. at the outset of the play, and it's going to go against Green Bay. Waiting for Gordon McCarter.
Illegal motion. 84 offense. Penalty decline. 4th down.
You'll see Sterling Sharpe, number 84, just flinch here. There's the flinch. Tried to stop, but you got to be set for a second, and he wasn't able to do that. Therefore, they got the call.
So with only 1 timeout remaining, the hand has been dealt. The Packers have to go for it on 4th and 10 with a Magic Man.
They have no other choice. They've got to try to get this first down, and the thing that I'd be watching for is the Magic Man to take off and try to run with it.
3:09 left. Stepping up, pressure coming. Bukowski eluding the pressure, and it's intercepted inside the 20, all the way into the end zone. It's Dan Petrie. Touchdown, Kansas City. Perfectly timing it absolutely perfectly. Petrie in his 2nd year from TCU.
Bukowski trying to just force that one in there, and that's going to happen. He couldn't find a receiver open, and it looked like he could have ran the ball, but that may be second guessing him. They needed that first down very badly, and he fired it in, and Petrie, as you said, just timed it perfectly, came through, and there was nothing but open field in front of him. All he had to do was just keep running, and I think that play has put this game on ice.
Lowry in for the extra point.
What
and it's a 14-point lead for Kansas City.
What a quiet crowd we have here now. I tell you, they just have quieted down this entire stadium. We'll take a look at Bukowski trying to find somebody downfield. Now, it doesn't help him any to throw a short pass. He's got to throw it at least for the first down. He can't find anybody. Now he tries to bury this ball in, and Petrie's got excellent timing and excellent speed as he just strides into the end zone. Anytime you see a play like that, there's always a receiver that feels that he's open. But if you watch Sterling Sharpe, he's down at the bottom of your screen, and Bukowski's not looking that way. He's not looking that way.
Tough day for Sterling Sharpe and Don Bukowski. The Green Bay Packers. 4 turnovers now, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumbles.
Bukowski admittedly said that he would be a little bit rusty, but I don't think that Bukowski is not the guy that you can put the total blame on this football team. This is a team game.
Last year, Kansas City won it with the Packers failing to score a touchdown, and a very similar situation this afternoon.
In all my career, there's very few games that had any carryover from year to year. It's a brand new situation, and each game takes on its own personality. I guarantee you the game last year was a lot better than this one. It's just that the score ended up being the same.
I can tell you have a strong feeling about this affair. Lowry ready to boom it away to Bland and Workman. Lowry with his shortest effort so far today. Bland from the 2. Bland getting around Petrie, but there is a flag down in the play as Petrie felt that he was held back at the 26-yard line.
And I think he was.
Other scores around the NFL in this 3rd week of the season.
What's that score in Chicago?
Holding number 15 receiving
By the
team
way,
during the return.
Those
Ben
Vikings
Johnson got a foul, first down.
tying it up with the Bears. Cincinnati rolling at home, raising their record to 3-0. Those Brownies continue to have problems, and they are up next week for the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. And Washington pulling away in the 4th from Dallas. Jeff George was taken out of the Indianapolis game very early, going 0 for 10 with 27 yards as Jack Trudeau took over. A couple of touchdowns in that contest from Warren Moon to Lorenzo White for the Houston Oilers. Here in Green Bay, a 14-point lead for the Chiefs. Trying to go 2-1 while the Packers will most likely fall to 1-2. Penalty takes it back to the 15-yard line. Over the middle it goes, and Sterling Sharp has it. The one thing that bothered the Packers all day long was the pressure on Mikowski. He didn't have much time back there today for his first start of the season.
A lot of pressure, and I just think that a lot of times we focused on Mikowski, but we noticed that he did a lot of running around back there. That's that offensive line. They've got to be able to hold people out.
Dump off for Fontenot on 2nd and a yard. He's got the first down. And don't forget, tonight on NBC, it's a double feature. Imagine if the comedy stars of your favorite TV shows went off to summer camp. Well, it happens tonight in the movie Camp Cucamonga. Then one of the most important movies of the year, the critically acclaimed She Said No, starring Veronica Hamill and Judd Hirsch. So that's Camp Cucamonga and She Said No, tonight on NBC. And we talked about it very early, Ahmad, and it comes back to haunt the Packers in the second half even more so. 8 sacks given up over the first 2 games, 6 to the Chicago Bears, and the front 7, including some blitzes, of course. We saw Burris in the backfield consistently. Of the Kansas City Chiefs, they were always in Mikowski's face.
Without the mobility of Mikowski, you'd have had more sacks than that today.
It's complete to Clarence Weathers. Played for the Chiefs last year. He's got the 40-yard line for another first down, stopping the clock with 2:17 left.
It's nice to have a quarterback that has so much mobility, but it's horrible if he has to use it every single down. Mikowski, that's always his added dimension, but this game he's had to be Mr. Nimblefoot out there just in order to get enough time to throw the ball down the field. There is not, I mean, you really take down the efficiency of a quarterback if he doesn't have time to throw the ball.
So a big day for Kansas City. And Christian Okoye only had 69 yards and 20 carries last week, and Mikowski slips, and that'll be the 5th sack of the day for the Kansas City Chiefs.
You notice that he slipped.
Leonard Griffin got in there.
He slipped, and he's got some of his linemen right back there with him. I mean, at some point the linemen have to stop. You can't have a lineman backing up past the quarterback.
Mikowski scrambling, but they say he was in the grasp and sacked again. Dan Saliamua.
Now Dan is doing his version of cheerleading over there.
Not playing to much of an audience, though.
No, not at all. If you watch this, watch the offensive line keep coming on back. Saliamua just uses his quickness and just runs right by the offensive tackle, just right past him. From the snap of the ball, he was just gone. It's amazing to watch a big player like Salam. What do you say, Dan? That quickness is incredible.
He's shocked. Welcome back once again to Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Joel Myers alongside the president of the Dan Saliamua fan club, Ahmad Rashad. Pressure.
The reason that we came on camera is to show you that I can say that man's name, Dan Saliamua. I'm a big fan.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And right now, the Kansas City Chiefs defensive unit, the key to the afternoon, with exactly 2 minutes remaining.
Led by Dan Saliamua.
Flags up in the air. Flags in the air. On 3rd and long, Mikowski again feeling the heat.
Offside, 58, defense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Derek Thomas with a quick jump out of the blocks. So 3rd down all over again.
Everybody trying to get in on the act, getting a piece of this quarterback. At this point in the game, they know that they got to pass, and it is a dangerous situation for a quarterback when he's facing people like Derek Thomas, Neil Smith, Dan Saliamua.
I was waiting for you.
That's right. That's right. Old Dan.
Yellow has been a prominent color today, not just because the Packers have it in their uniform.
Kansas City also 11 penalties. I tell you, this is an ugly game, and I guarantee you that Marty Schottenheimer is not going to watch it much.
The dump off for Clarence Weathers. And it's across the 40 to the 41. Way short of the first down. They'll go for it on 4th down with the clock running, 1:45 left. So Green Bay gets ready to hit the road while Kansas City heads home. Packers next week are at Detroit. Over the middle, it's complete. Taken in by Weathers, and he's short of the first down.
Once again, the receiver has got to run the pattern deep enough to get the first down. The onus is on the receiver to know where the first down markers are.
And that's why you hear boos in the background, because he did not go beyond the midfield stripe where he needed to go for the first down marker.
You must always know where you are on the field. I know that sounds weird, but what they mean when they say that is know where that first down marker is, so that you make the catch and you get tackled right away. At least you got the first down. And Clarence Weathers, a veteran, knows that he should have run that a little bit deeper.
Many feel that the Kansas City Chiefs are on the verge of moving into the upper echelon in the NFL. They've got the defensive unit. They've got the running attack with Christian Okoye as DeBerg takes a snap with 1:25 left.
Also, Stephon Page paying the deep eye back. He so far, it might be another letter. If you look at the I formation.
And the maturity of a quarterback like Steve DeBerg in his 14th year out of San Jose State. It seems like they have those ingredients to challenge the Denver Broncos in the AFC Western Division, along with the Los Angeles Raiders, too.
Well, in talking about Carl Peterson there with the very dapper Carl Peterson, standing next to Marty Schottenheimer, he says we're a few years away. We're still not where we want to be. But I guarantee you, Carl Peterson has done a great job on this football team. He is one of the great general managers in the league. He's put together not only a great coaching staff, but also a great group of players. And being around these guys, you can feel them on the move. You can feel them feeling like they are a contending football team.
And don't you like the way Carl Peterson, the president and general manager, compliments Marty Schottenheimer, the way Carl worked with Jim Mora with the Philadelphia Stars when they won those championships in the USFL.
He is definitely a football man. He's the type of guy that knows what it takes to win and goes about trying to get players to just do that. And a very enjoyable guy. I enjoy all the time that I can spend around him because he's such a knowledgeable man in terms of football players and the game of football.
They've got a class act going in Kansas City. Carl Peterson, Marty Schottenheimer, the entire staff, and most of that staff with Marty Schottenheimer. 7 of those coaches with the Cleveland Browns during Marty's 4+ seasons there.
And if there's an owner that deserves to have a championship team, it is the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
Lamar Hunt.
A great sportsman, a man that just enjoys all sports. He's as big a fan as you can find.
22 seconds left. One more snap. The Chiefs will head home with a 2-1 record, while the Pack will move back to their play in the black and blue division, taking on the Lions next week at the Silverdome. And that'll do it in Green Bay. So for the second season in a row, the Chiefs defensive unit holds the Packers an entire contest without a score, and that is saying something with Don Majkowski as your quarterback.
That is certainly right, Joe. But the thing is Kansas City gets out of here with a win. They didn't play well. They didn't play pretty, but they got that all-important W.
So the best of friends part ways for the time being. Kansas City wins by 14 as we'll be right back to Lambeau Field. Welcome back. A brilliant day in the upper Midwest as the Green Bay Packers suffer another home loss, this time to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Joel Myers alongside Ahmad Rashad. Well, the Chiefs coming in here knew that the Packers had 3 straight home games, but they completely nullified the offensive attack of Majkowski.
I think the thing that Marty Schottenheimer was most concerned with was their ability to stop the run, because they had been running so badly against the Denver Broncos. They didn't really shut down the run, but what they did is what good football teams do, is they won the football game. I talked with Carl Peterson, the general manager, before the game, and we were talking about in this league, sometimes the most important thing is to just win. Forget about stats. Forget about what you think you got to do. You just got to go out and win. And I think it's a good sign that this team could rally and win the football game.
And let's not forget the big play today did not come from the Chiefs offensive unit, but it came from their defensive unit and their special teams.
Good teams will find ways to win. It doesn't matter where it comes from. And this one came when Albert Lewis takes the inside rush here and just almost takes that ball right off the punter's foot. And it's picked up and ran in for a touchdown. And that really is the mark of a good football team. If you can't play, if you can't score offensively and you can't score defensively, it doesn't matter how you score, just as long as you get in the end zone.
And the interceptions paid off, 2 in the second half.
This was maybe a forced ball by Majkowski, trying to just force this ball in. But it certainly put the icing on the cake for the Kansas City Chiefs as Petrie takes it and runs it right into the end zone.
And the Kansas City Chiefs also did this without Jonathan Hayes. Their tight end will be eligible after the first 4 weeks on IR.
Deron Cherry.
Irv Eatman as well, ready to move back into the offensive line very shortly.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Carl Peterson has put together quite a football team in Kansas City, and they have some players.
So the Kansas City Chiefs right now, really contenders when you think about it in the overall picture. In the AFC Western Division with the Denver Broncos. We saw those LA Raiders in week number 1. They are going to be tough too.
Winning games like this, I can't say it enough times, that when you win a game like this, it really gives your entire team confidence to know that when you go out on the field, that you got a chance to win. And that's really the big deal. There are certain teams that when they take the field, it's like, oh, I don't know, what are we going to do today to win, or maybe we won't win. But Kansas City is quickly moving up towards that upper echelon in the National Football League.
And let's not forget as well about the composure and the maturity of the quarterback who's guiding this team, Steve DeBerg. Well, a 17-3 final here at Lambeau Field in Green Bay. Let's take a look now at the other finals around the NFL and other games still going. The Giants shut down Miami's balanced attack that did not develop today at the Meadowlands. Minnesota is losing now late in the 4th by 3 to Chicago. Cincinnati bombing New England all day long at Riverfront. San Diego with a 10-point advantage at Cleveland over the Browns, with the opponents next week for the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Washington defeats Dallas in the 4th quarter right now. They are up by 13 points. A couple of other scores. Houston behind the strong arm of Warren Moon leading Indianapolis by 14. And New Orleans pulling away now in the second half over the Phoenix Cardinals, who shocked the football world last week with an upset victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. And don't forget tonight, 2 world premiere movies. Camp Cucamonga.